Yeah, 1-2, 1-2. 1-2, 1-2.
Go ahead, mate.
Good afternoon and welcome to our live stream coverage of today's Vitality Blast clash between Glamorgan and the Sussex Sharks at Sophia Gardens. Croeso cynnes I chi gyd yma heno ar gyfer y gêm wrth i forganog herio Sussex Sharks. This is Glamorgan's penultimate home match of the season, and the Welsh county will be looking to bounce back from yesterday's defeat to the Essex Eagles. Now stay tuned to our coverage with the match starting at 5:30, but before then we've got the team and toss news from the middle, an interview from Glamorgan's Director of Cricket Mark Wallace. But first, before all that, let's take a look back at the highlights of Tuesday's thrilling victory over Surrey.
Here is Jameson in then to bowl to Lloyd at 6 for Norton. Lloyd straight drives back down the ground.
Getting the opposition to have to run a lot of runs, as this is a gorgeous shot from Carlson.
Atkinson in, bowls, and that's a huge shot from Carlson over cover. It's gone all the way. As Jameson is in to bowl to Lloyd, who pulls him over fine leg for 6. With a tough end, and he comes to bowl to left-handed Colin Ingram, who tries the reverse in his bowls. As he gets off the mark with a slight misfield. Oh, there'll be a run out here as
back on strike on 2 as he goes outside his leg stump, goes inside out over extra cover. That's a gorgeous shot. Sounds like take a gamble here. Yes, he does. It's a short ball. There we go. That's 6. They need a few more of those. That's a big old hit.
As in comes Atkinson to bowl to Root, who hoists him miles over square leg. Comes Atkinson again. Root steps away, gives himself room, and he's hit that one over backward point for 6. Faces up and hits this one over. Square leg for 6 more. Not Root then faces up to the last ball of the innings from Atkinson, and he's nailed that one for 6 more. 4-6. Root then faces up to the last ball of the innings from Atkinson, and he's nailed that one for 6 more. Root then faces up to the last ball of the innings from Atkinson, and he's nailed that one for 6 more. 4 sixes in the last over from Billy Root allows Glamorgan to finish with a flourish and somehow scramble their way to 153 for 6. Terminate prod, and that's one of Surrey's big hitters gone.
41 not out, Billy Root. Evans waits again, and Evans is driving in the air and will go. Caught at mid-off.
Tall, shaven-headed, as he's in to bowl, and Burns drives beautifully down the ground and will get 4.
Southwaite then, right arm over the wicket with his headband on, and comes into Ollie Pope, who's tucking him away. Straight delivery, roll of the wrist from Ollie Pope, and that whistles away. Over the wicket once again comes Southwaite, and quick singles taken by Ollie Pope. Direct hit. Ollie Pope's quick. They're convinced. Billy Root's convinced that's out. And umpire Baldwin shakes his head.
And Garton bowls outside off stump, hammered away there by Pope.
Southwaite's in once again to him, and he's driving on the up for 4. It's a gorgeous shot.
Racing 154, we're in the 9th, start the 9th, and Walker has cleaned up Rory Burns, trying to force ball to Smith, who misses one outside off stump. No, he's got a feather on it, and he's caught behind.
Sophia is in to Overton, bowls him. Well bowled, Prem Sisodia.
And Garton in to bowl to Geddes, who drives back to the bowler, and is gone for 2.
In over the wicket to Ollie Pope. Pope drives on the up, tries to get it through the covers. He has. He's done really well there, Ollie Pope. Wheel is in to Jameson. Well, it's short. You could see the plan, and Jameson's just stood there and Wheel is over the wicket to Jameson. Full delivery, driven down the ground by Jameson. They'll want to get Pope back onto strike. Here he comes, Ollie Pope. Oh, run out this time. Wheel's done brilliantly there, because the throw from Carlson was wide of the stumps.
Southwaite is bounding in to bowl, and that is big up towards long on, but not big enough. Southwaite is in to bowl to Jameson, who hits that one for 6. Oh, Jameson.
Jameson on 24. Jameson swings him. Leg side's got all of that. That's a massive strike. Cooke will be on his toes. Here we go then. 2 off the last ball needed by Surrey. Van der Hooten's round the wicket to Jameson, and Jameson's drilled it back at Van der Hooten. Does he run him out? He has! And Jameson has been run out off the last ball, and that is a victory for Glamorgan. An unbelievable end to this game, because Jameson got bat on it, Van der Hooten got hands on it, managed to retrieve the ball and then get it back onto the stumps, and Jameson run out for 31, and it is a dramatic victory, Mike Powell, for Glamorgan.
It's that time again. Time for a bit of rock and roll. Huge wicket.
Oh, have a look at that.
That's brilliant. What a catch. And boy, did they need that.
Well, this is punishing stuff from David Milan. He keeps going and going.
Oh, excellent catch.
Gone. What a delivery. That is an absolute beauty. That is magnificent.
Got to be quick here. Oh, brilliant, world-class David Willey.
Oh, he's gone again. He's gone again, this time straight. Running round. Oh, that's incredible. What a catch. Huge wicket. That could be the game right there. He's got him. It's 7. Unbelievable. Oh, no. Would you believe it?
It's the Notts Outlaws, 2020 champions. Brilliant performance.
Yes, a warm welcome if you're just joining us on the live stream this evening. Glamorgan taking on Sussex Sharks. Croeso cynnes I chi i'r gêm enfawr her yma. Morganog yn herio Sussex. Tipyn o gêm. Couple of unedau tam bod ni'n dechrau pethau fan hyn. Just under 5 minutes or so till we get things started here on Sophia Gardens. So before we do that, let's run across the teams for you this evening. We'll start with the visitors, Sussex. So their captain will be number 1, Luke Wright. And second into bat will be Phil Salt. Number 3 batting will be Travis Head. Number 4, Ravi Popara, a famous name that we all know. Number 5, David Visa. Number 6, Aaron Thomason. Number 7, Harrison Ward. Number 8, Will Beer. Number 9, Tymal Mills. Number 10, Archie Lenham. And number 11, Mitch Claydon. Now for the home team for Glamorgan this evening. Opening the batting, number 1, Chris Cooke, and of course he's our captain. Number 2, David Lloyd. Number 3, Kieran Carlson. Number 4, Colin Ingram. Number 5 in the batting order, Billy Root. Number 6, Dan Dothwaite. Number 7 to bat will be James Wheel. Number 8, Callum Taylor. Number 9, Andrew Salter. Number 10 to bat, Sam Pearce. And completing the 11 in the batting order will be Roman Walker. So a great evening ahead, there's no doubt about that. And I'm glad to say we can now hand over to our commentary team, Nick Webb, Ed Bevan and Steve James, who will cover the match on this Glamorgan live feed and also on BBC Wales Online.
Quite heavily. The news from Sophia Gardens is that Sussex have won the toss and chosen to bat first. Both teams are unchanged from last night. We'll hear from the former Glamorgan and England batsman Steve James in a moment, but first Edward Bevan was suffering alongside me at Chelmsford as well as suffering the motorway miles. Edward, we're here to do it all again, hopefully with a bit more joy to commentate from a Welsh point of view.
Absolutely, Nick. I put up with the motorway miles. I don't think I could put up like a performance as Glamorgan tried to do last night. It's probably the worst 2020 performance I've seen from the club. Excuse me. And they have to redeem themselves because they're out of the competition now, and they have to, what does the old saying, they have to pay for pride, but they really have to get this stuck in because there's only one word for it, and that was abysmal.
There we are. Well, hopefully the presence of Steve James will and his coaching expertise. Well, you've been looking after the stars of the future, Steve, so hopefully your work will pay dividends in a few years' time. But Glamorgan looking a bit disorganised at the moment.
Yeah, I have been working with the academy for the last few years, but yeah, none of those players are playing tonight. I think Sam Pearce was in the academy, but that was before I was involved. I think young Tegid Phillips has been in the squad for the last 2 nights, a promising off-spinner.
Well, one redeeming feature of last night was the young all-rounder Sam Pearce. Yeah. He bowled his leg spinner, Steve, and very interesting. Alan Butcher played with you, of course, said he looked very promising indeed, and he did in his first over. He didn't concede a run till his fourth ball. Quick, you've probably seen him, quick leg breaks he bowls, and I'm glad to see him given a chance again.
Yeah, I think he can give it a bit of a whack with the bat as well. But I know Glamorgan have been looking to try and get a leg spinner into the squad for a while, and they've had a few young leg spinners down to train. I know there's a young lad in the academy, Sam Stringwood, who's been bowling his leg spin at nets as well. So we've certainly been looking at various leg spinners, and they're very keen to bring one through. So Sam Pearce has had a good chance, and hopefully he carries on with that.
So here we go then with Andrew Salter to bowl to Phil Salt. Edward, take it away.
Salter from the River End bowls just short of a length and is nudged away on the leg side, and they get their first run of the evening. Glamorgan all out for 104 last night, and Sussex didn't get as far as that. They were out for 103, so we may see a low scoring game again, but let's hope that both are more competitive. Yeah, their opening batsman is Luke Wright. Very punishing batsman when he gets going. We've seen what he's done in the past, and he is about to face Salter with a very, very defensive field. Salter over the wicket bowls, brings him forward. They think of a run. Salter sent back immediately by his senior partner.
Apologies, Edward, I didn't hand you the first over just because it was Salt against Salter, and we had Pepper last night.
We had Pepper last night, yeah.
No onions though, Steve, these days.
Mustard?
Tomato ketchup?
Salter with his off crease comes in, bowls, and this is a appeal for LBW, not given by the umpire. He did get well outside the line of off stump. Hasn't got anybody down in that area. The outriders, only 2 of course, are long on, rather a wideish long on, and a deep mid wicket. Salter, not a bad start as yet, comes in and bowls, and this time he does connect, and it'll be 4 runs. It's running away past the man who made a valiant attempt to field it, but unfortunately for him, and unfortunately for Glamorgan, Dan Routhwaite there at in the ring at short fine leg failed to stop it. It did run away for 4. 5 men on that offside, saving a single. If it goes through there, that'll also be 4. But it's Salter again, coming in, bowls, tosses this one up, played away on the onside for a single. Pearce is after it, but they'll probably come back for a second, as Carlson has to make some ground. They do. So towards the end of this over, they're making quite a positive start, Steve.
Yeah, that boundary was a bit disappointing, really, wasn't it? Because it wasn't a big shot. It just helped on its way, and Routhwaite got half a hand to it as well. It's taking the pressure off for Sussex. That
they've moved on for 7 without loss in this first over, as Salter comes in, bowls again, hit back, and it's very well fielded and returned by the bowler there. Now, he injured his hand last night, and he takes rather a bruise, I thought, on that, but it was a very good stop. 7 without loss then, and Salt is on 1. He'll be receiving from the second over, and Wright is on 6.
Salt's, of course, a Welshman, isn't he? And lived with Tony Cotty for a while as well, so he did well to come out of that unscathed. So,
indeed, we were hoping to hear from Tony Cotty on this season's broadcasting, but he's too busy making ice creams these days. Hello, Tony, if you're listening.
Yeah, that looks a good enterprise there, doesn't it? So, Cotts has always been keen to do something different, isn't he? So, wish him well in that.
I think his good lady, she is the brains there, I think.
What are you trying to say, Ed?
Business lady.
Oh, okay.
It's Roman Walker to bowl the first over from the Cathedral Road end, and he's bowling to the Welshman Phil Salt. That's down leg side and called wide, as Salt offers a bit of a waft at it to any Welsh listeners and viewers wondering how Glamorgan missed Salt's talent. Well, he went off to live in the West Indies with his parents at a fairly young age, and then when they came back they lived in the southeast of England, so it wasn't a Glamorgan miss as such. 8 for naught Sussex, as that one hits the pad of Salt and trickles down to fine leg for a leg by. 9 without loss. Roman Walker before this had bowled 9 overs, 2 for 48 in the competition. Actually Glamorgan's most economical bowler on his couple of matches so far. 3 matches before this. Runs away from us again once the batsmen are ready. Luke Wright down having a little bit of a prod. He hit a tremendous century against Glamorgan at Arundel a couple of years back, but had been trumped by Colin Ingram on that occasion. And Glamorgan could do with some big runs from Ingram this evening, because he's only produced once out of 7 innings.
What year did Luke Wright start?
Where? Leicester?
No, what year? Yeah, I know he started at Leicestershire.
Oh, I thought you said where.
As in comes Walker, angled down to points. They think about a single. Well, he's 36, so probably about 2003, 2004.
Used to bowl pace, Steve, didn't he?
Oh, I thought you were going to.
No, I thought you were
I'm
going
not
to
sure.
say
I played against him.
Well, I think I might have done. That's what I was asking. He wouldn't have been far off of it.
I'll tell you now. He made his Sussex debut in 04 and played 1 match for Leicestershire the previous year in 03. Walker bowls, and that's clipped through the leg side as a race round this mid-wicket boundary, and Carlson misses it. Well, I thought he got to that, Carlson. Tried to scoop it back, and after Glamorgan fielded so well here on Tuesday night, they didn't feel very well last night, and that's a couple of half stops that have resulted in boundaries.
He'll be disappointed with that, Kieran Carson. He's a very good fielder, and he'll know he should have stopped that, really.
2 blemishes in the field in the first couple of overs.
Yeah, both of which have cost runs. Walker is in to bowl, and that's over the top of the stumps as Wright steps away. Was backing towards the umpire, giving himself room, trying to hit through that offside with no one on the boundary in front of the wicket. But was nearly bowled by it. Right on 10, Salt has the single. It's 13 without lots. Sussex on an overcast early evening here in Cardiff. No lights in use at the moment. As Walker is in, bowls, and another waft and a miss from Wright. And the young bowler will be happy with that.
I thought he bowled well last night, Nick, Rowan Walker. I don't know if he's been injured or not, but he certainly bowled as well as any other seamer has this season in this form of cricket.
In fairness, he's getting good bounce and carry there, isn't he? That's what's defeated Wright on both those occasions.
In comes Walker again. Bowls to Wright. This time he's put it up in the air towards us, up towards long on, and that will carry into the front row of the seating for 6 runs, first maximum of the evening. And Sussex then galloping on to 19 without loss after 2 overs, 12 off what had seemed like a decent over, Steve.
Yeah, I don't know whether he would have been better to carry on what he was doing, but I could see what he was trying to do there. So Wright was trying to give himself some room, so Rowan Walker tried to follow him, didn't he? I went full and tried to follow him, but Wright knew what was coming, and he said a good shot over long on there, in fairness.
Good start then for the visitors. It's a change of bowling. Salter just bowling the 1 over. Dan Douthwaite is coming on at the far end, and he's rather a mixture with his bowling. He can either get the odd very good ball, or sometimes rather wide of the mark. But I
think he's bowled decently though, isn't he?
Not bad. He's taken a few wickets.
Leading wicket taker with 11.
Anyway, he's coming in from the river end. Wicketkeeper standing back, and here's his first ball, and bowls, and this time it could be out. No, it's just half volleyed the fielder there at mid-on. Salt hit it firmly.
Rowan Walker at mid-on. It didn't carry to him. It skimmed to him. It wasn't a chance. It's actually a good stop. He's an interesting cricketer, Douthwaite, isn't he? Aggressive with bat and ball.
He's coming in now, past the umpire, and bowls, and Salt drives powerfully for 4 runs past mid-off. Rank half volley there, which Salt laid into it. And if these two do get going, Steve, they'll put Sussex in a very good position at the start of this game, because they're very punishing batsmen.
Yeah, I mean, Douthwaite was slightly full there, but sort of just stood there and delivered that, hasn't he? That's a powerful shot from the crease. Slightly sort of flat batted through mid-off, but yeah, very powerful shot. He plays his shots, doesn't he? So he doesn't hang around.
He's been on the fringes of the England one-day squads, hasn't he?
He got caught up, didn't he?
Yeah. Last year,
here actually, yes. He's all got very excited. Could have been a Welshman making his debut in Cardiff, the first Welshman since Simon Jones.
And the ball has disappeared down on the far end. Now it's coming back. Probably somebody kicked it back, because you're not supposed to handle it.
I think Colin Ingram had to go under the covers to get it back, I think.
So a good start here, 23 for no wicket, as Douthwaite settles now as he comes in again over the wicket. Balls to Salt. Salt lays into that, didn't time it at all very convincingly, and goes out into the offside. The score remains the same. Just give a run through this Sussex side this evening. Coming in next is the former England all-rounder Ravi Bopara, and then the Australian batsman Travis Head, Aaron Thompson, David Visa, South African Harrison Ward, Wilbur, Archie Lenham, as in comes the next ball, and that's driven up to mid-on, who's rather deep. They take a single, and a good return, and very good backing up there. They could easily run away for 4. And the score advances 24 without loss. Yes, Archie Lenham. Steve, as he played against certain people. Well, Archie Lenham, Steve's played against his father.
And I know his grandfather.
Les, I know Les.
Very well.
16 years of age, wonderful. I think he's 17 now. Ollie Carter, Mitch Claydon. Now, he's been a bit of a naughty boy and is playing his first game of the season. He was banned for doing something with the ball, I think. Stuart Mika and Tymal, he likes to be called, Tymal Mills, who's rather rapid and has got a very good disguised ball.
Slower ball.
A disguised slower ball, correct. Very much disguised. 24 without loss. Third over. In comes Douthwaite. This time he bowls to right, tries to pull him and has a hit in the glove. Either played a little bit too early or he's late on it. Rehearses the shot again.
I think from the games I've seen so far at Sophia Gardens this season, the pitches haven't been brilliant, if I'm honest. And early on with the seamers, it looks like the type of pitches where you want to actually hit the pitch. You don't want to be looking to bowl Yorkers or slower balls early on. I'd be looking to hit the pitch, and I think when Douthwaite's hit the pitch here, he's looked much better.
Here he is again then. Comes over the wicket, bowls, and he's just going to get 4 runs. He's tried to hammer it through mid-off and gets a thick outside edge, runs away for 4, expensive over that. And they're putting inside Sussex, Steve, and I think tonight they have realised just what you've said. And every side that's batted first here, Kent got a meagre score, 140, won the game. Glamorgan against Surrey, same sort of score, won the game. So probably they want to get to the runs on the board and get their bowlers to take advantage of it. Yeah, I mean, I watched that. I was here for that Kent game, and that wasn't a very good pitch at all. But I'm not suggesting this is similar. This looks a better pitch, but they don't look like absolute belters, do they? No. I think that's the point I'm trying to make.
David Lloyd is going to come into the attack in the 4th over as Glamorgan use their 4th bowler, and Lloyd is in to bowl to Salt, who drives and gets 4 again off a big thick edge, and this one flying over wide. Third man, very fortuitous, Steve.
Yeah, it's an interesting move though, bowling David Lloyd in the power play. Did that happen last night as well? Or
Lloyd is in to bowl to Salt, who no, it's drives and gets 4 again.
I mean, generally I think Lloyd has been underused in T20 cricket, but I would have thought bowling in the power play was quite a difficult ask.
In comes Lloyd again and bowls, and that's a crack through the offside for 4 more. So Salt joining in the boundary hitting fun, and Sussex moving on to 36 without loss at the start of the 4th.
I just think someone with with his pace, he's basically medium pace, isn't he?
Yeah.
Only 2 fielders allowed out in these in this power play, and they've got a deep square and a deep mid wicket. They're going to be looking to go down the ground, aren't they?
Lloyd in again, bowls, and that is hammered to mid-off. Ingram will have a shy, just misses at the non-striker's end. I think the batsmen were home anyway. Single taken by Salt, wearing number 28, big white number on the back of a jazzy light blue affair that Sussex wear. 37 for naught. Salt 15, right 20. 2 experienced players at the top of the order. Head, Visa, Bopara, plenty of experience there.
Yep. Just change the field. They've gone with a 3rd man instead of the deep mid wicket, so they've got a deep square who's come in front of square and a 3rd man.
Lloyd to bowl to right on 20 not out. 4th over of the game here on BBC Sport Online, and that is cracked away through the offside for 4 more. 3 boundaries in very quick succession off David Lloyd. 13 off the over, and Glamorgan's bowlers are struggling, Steve.
Yeah, as I say, I'm not sure about this ploy bowling Lloyd in the power play. It's a big ask. He's already gone for 3-4s in this over, isn't he? Sussex off to a flyer here, aren't they?
He'll do well to drag this one back. They sure are. As this one's played down towards backward point, there's a diving stop by Salter, and at last a dot ball for the Glamorgan cause. Last ball coming up to the 4th over with 41 already on the board.
Just makes it so much easier as a batting side when you get off to this sort of start. Really takes the pressure off, doesn't it? But they'll still be looking to capitalise for these last 2.1 overs as well.
Well, that means the middle order can play with fewer hang-ups, doesn't it? Lloyd balls, and that is hit over mid-off. It's not quite time, but it'll still go all the way by Luke Wright. And a brilliant over from Sussex. Pretty disastrous from the Glamorgan point of view, as the visitors gallop on to 45, I believe, although it's disappeared off the board. 4 fours and a single in the over.
Yeah, well, I did mention at the start, didn't I? I thought that was a brave move. Obviously, hasn't proved a particularly good move, has it? Because that really has kick-started this Sussex in his 45 for no wicket after 4 is some start, isn't it? Glamorgan are going to have to strive for wickets now. That's the only way to drag this back now.
Sussex are glad to get out there. I suppose they've had 10 games played in inverted commas. They've actually got a result in only 5 of those. 1-3, lost 2 and 5 rain-offs. As this one from Walker is dug in short and hooked around for 4 runs by Phil Salt, and Glamorgan's power play is pretty disastrous so far.
Yeah, you wonder what the plans are here at the moment, don't you? I must admit I can't. So Nick, can you tell me where the 2 fielders are out? Because I can't see at the back of the box.
Square leg and mid-wicket.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Crowd trying to urge Glamorgan onwards, as that's down leg side. That'll be called wide. It was attempted sort of leg stump Yorker length, but just off target from Walker.
Problem is, you can almost lose the game in the first power play if it goes horribly wrong.
Yes, they're almost doing so at the moment. 19 to Salt, 28 to Wright. Walker in to bowl to Salt, who lofts this one over mid-on. 1 bounce, 2 bounce, 3 bounces, skips over the ropes. 4 more, and Sussex certainly are playing with the confidence that Glamorgan seem to lack at the moment.
Yeah, I mean it's a good shot, isn't it? But slightly too full. If I was Walker, I'd just be looking to hit a good length. It seems a little bit in the pitch when you do that.
Walker charges towards us, bowls again, and missed shot from Salt. It trickles up to mid-on, and they go through for a single.
It may have been a slower ball, but it was a much better length anyway.
So well backed up by Callum Taylor. I think was caught awkwardly by that. Maybe on the ankle. He's limping around, Callum Taylor.
Brilliant fielder, Callum Taylor, isn't he? Saw him when the academy played Newport at the start of last season, actually. Fielded superbly in that game.
Yes, he's been in and out of the side. As Walker bowls and hit up to mid-on and just over by Luke Wright. Well, that really was stand and deliver. There wasn't a lot of footwork involved, and Sussex are just raining boundaries at the moment here at Sophia Gardens. Everything is coming off. Even the edges are going for 4, and the slight mishits. And Sussex move on to 59.
It's gone full again there, though, isn't it? It's only just cleared mid-on, but it was enough.
Still in the power play. Superb for the visitors. Defensive shot for once from Luke Wright.
Better length, wasn't it?
Plays it straight to Salter at short mid-wicket. 59 for naught.
Sometimes you can overcomplicate things in this game. It looks to me a bit as if Glamorgan have been overcomplicating things this evening.
I'm not sure if their heads or their bodies are more scrambled at the moment after long coach journeys on the last 2 days. Walker bowls and another edge for 4 runs. Down to third man, 63 for naught after 5 overs.
Yeah, I mean that is genuinely unlucky. That there've been a couple of those, haven't there? But Sussex are off the absolute flyer here, Nick, aren't they?
Yes, you do wonder how Glamorgan are going to prevent this from being a minimum of 180.
Well, I mean, it'd be interesting to see who's going to bowl this over now. I think it's going to be Andrew Salter, isn't it? But I mean, they're going to go really hard now. They won't be knocking this over around, will they? This last over the power play.
Well, it is a team you feel a seam bowler light without Van der Hoogten resting ahead of Sunday's championship match. Hogan not being used in this competition. Rory Smith out injured. James Wheeler's been going at more than 10 and over. Salter bowls, and Salt plays gently to mid-wicket for a single. Roots comes in and does the fielding. Just wondered whether they might recall Hogan for this, since it's a home match, but I suppose the argument that you might as well give youngsters experience when you're out of the competition is a fair one.
I saw Michael Hogan this week down at Newport. He's playing for the second team against Leicestershire. They stuck Leicestershire in and then fielded for 165 overs.
There's a sweep towards just past square leg. Thought Walker might be in business there for a moment, but whacked away for 4 more. 68 for naught, right goes to 40.
There have been some close shaves, haven't there? Because I thought for a moment that was going straight to him. There have been some edges, but they've played their shots. They've been aggressive and very positive. And virtually everything they've tried has come off, isn't it, for Sussex?
Well, even the ones that have been off the edge have gone for 4. 68 for naught. Salter to Luke Wright, 36-year-old captain in this format, as it comes down the wicket and hits him over long off for 4 more. 72 for naught.
Yeah, only allowed 2 fielders out, so they've got long on and deep mid wicket, haven't they? So Luke Wright's just targeted that long off area, just knows he's only got to get it over. Mid off is on the edge of the circle, and he's done that quite easily.
It is a fairly risk-free operation, isn't it? Salter in right, carves it away for 4 more down to backward square. Well, this is horrible from a Welsh point of view, Steve.
Yeah, I think he tried to bowl that one a little bit slower, didn't he? It was just too short, and Wright just rocked back and pulled that away for 4. Yeah,
72 for naught.
As I said earlier, you can sometimes lose a game in a power play.
Sussex galloping 76 for naught, apologies. We're still in the 6th over, as that one is cut down towards backward point, and ironic applause from the crowd as Glamorgan get a dot ball.
Yeah, that's not very nice, is it? You don't like that as a player. You know things aren't going well.
Salter to right, who chips it up towards long on. In comes Carlson, and they'll take a single. 77 for naught at the end of the power play here on BBC Sport Online from Sophia Gardens. Salt on 25, Wright already on 49.
Well, basically, when Sussex sat down before the game and said, right, we're going to win the toss and we're going to aim to have a good power play, I don't think they could have dreamt they'd have been 77 for no wicket at the end of that power play. Everything has gone right for them. Total opposite for Glamorgan. When they sat down, they'd been looking to get at least 3 wickets in that power play. They haven't got 1, and 77 on the board. It's a long way back for Glamorgan. You never know. I mean, Sam Pearce is coming on, isn't he? Grab a wicket and things can change, but the momentum is only heading one way at the moment, I'm afraid.
At this rate, you're looking at 200 plus. Yeah, Sam Pearce, who impressed us all last night, comes in, bowls, and the leg break lands exactly where he wanted it to, and it's just pushed away for a single. And that is Wright's 50, and that 50 coming up, I make it in 24 balls, Nick?
Correct.
Now then, his debut to Salt hasn't been quite as punishing, but he's ridden his luck, has Wright, but he's on to 50. Pearce comes in, bowls, and that's hammered away through the offside, but this time it'll be fielded by Carlson on that extra cover boundary.
I mean, he started well there, Pearce, hasn't he? Yeah. The advantage he's got is probably most of these players won't have faced him before.
Exactly. And he comes again, and this time is hit firmly down towards long on. Just the single, and at least Glamorgan have the luxury now of having fielders on the boundary. Salt back on strike on 26. Pearce bowls to him. It's short, too short. He's pulled away up to the mid-wicket boundary. It's fielded just inside the boundary. Good bit of fielding there. As the ball comes in, and that's an appeal for run out, and it wasn't all that far from being there.
It's good running.
It was excellent running. The score mounts 82 for no wicket. If you've just joined us, and we're only in the 7th over. Sam Pearce in, bowls again, and that's 4 more runs, and Salt this time goes to cut, gets a top edge, and it's 4 more runs. I know it's been vicious on the Glamorgan attack, Steve. I've counted about 4 that have gone through the slips.
Yeah, they've had a bit of luck, haven't they?
Yeah.
But in fairness, that was slightly short and wide, wasn't it? He's just thrown his hands at it. Yeah, I mean, there have been a few edges, but there've been some good shots as well.
Pearce tosses the ball from one hand to the other, comes in from the far end, bowls that short again. Well fielded young man, hammered back to him by Phil Salt. That's the end of the over. And 86 without loss at the end of the 7th over, Nick. This sanitisation time as they rush on. And then I think they made up their mind, though, Steve, that especially Luke Wright, they're going to go for it tonight. There's no hanging about. They just, because they're slipping down the table. They lost last night. They only made 103 all out, and they said we've got to go for it, otherwise we're going to slip further down.
I think that's what they do all the time, these blokes, isn't it, Edward?
But these two, yeah.
Well, it's not entirely their fault that if they've slipped down the table, because they've been rained off the pitch 5 times out of 10, which I think was the Glamorgan record in about 8-10 years ago. There was a match where there were 10 group matches and 5 of them were rained off.
No Ollie Robinson tonight. He is one of the 6 or 7 Sussex players affected by COVID. He hasn't got the thing, but he was close by and is in quarantine.
Indeed, the quarantine derby, as it were, with both teams suffering. Here is Salter to bowl, and Wright turns away on the leg side up towards mid-wicket. Single taken, Root with the fielding. 87 without loss. Glamorgan hope to have Labuschagne and Neser back out of quarantine tomorrow, if all is well, and fit for the game at Sussex on Sunday, as Salt hits that one up to mid-wicket, again takes the single. 88 for no wicket.
At least they won't have to bowl at Luke Wright, because he doesn't play 4-day matches.
Might make an exception after this if they're short on numbers. 88 for naught, Sussex. 8th over, going like a train. Full toss from Salter, driven by Wright. Again to mid-wicket for the 3rd time in as many balls. It's a single out to Billy Root.
When you've got the start they've had, you can afford just to knock it around for a little while, can't you? I'm not sure they'll be doing that for too long, mind.
Just regrouping, as that's hit very hard and the offside, and really well saved by Colin Ingram, the veteran of the Glamorgan side, at full stretch at short extra cover there.
It's a dangerous game, isn't it?
Saving probably 4 runs, as there's no one really covering. Salt to Salt, who drives up to long off. There's a slight fumble from Pearce, but he recovers quickly, and it's a single again. 90 without loss. 4 singles so far in this over, the 8th of the innings, and Sussex going at full pelt as they pursue a last 8 places. That's cut by Wright down into the ground, bounces up Chris Cooke, takes it, threatens to stump Wright if he'd gone wandering. He had not. Well, that is the most economical over so far from Glamorgan. 4 runs off it, but Sussex already have 90 without loss after 8.
Yeah, decent over that from Andrew Salter. I mean, things will get slightly harder as the ball gets softer, as it were, but they've had such a good start that they can afford a few quieter overs.
Sam Pearce to start his 2nd over then. 90 without loss. You're about to start the 9th, and it's Pearce coming in to Salt, bowls to him, good length ball, driven down to long on, and they'll be happy with a single. He moves on to 35, the score on to 91. And the fishes in the river behind Sam Pearce will be taking cover if Mr. Wright decides to go as he has, because he does hit it a very long way, especially straight. But Pearce might have other ideas. He tosses this one up, and that's gone over extra cover. They'll get a couple. Not perfectly timed, and it did spin, I think, because he was trying to hit it straight.
Yeah, as I was saying earlier, it's when you're facing a leg spinner you haven't faced before, you're always slightly wary, and if they can manage to get the ball in relatively good areas, I think the batsman might be slightly circumspect early on.
Wait. Why would I get there? The right drives down to long on, a flat-batted shot. He gets another single. So again, it's not a bad start to the over. Midway through it, Salt on 35, faces, plays it down, just past fine leg. He won't go for 4, but they'll certainly get a comfortable 2 runs, and the return comes in from Douthwaite. Do you think that they should have somebody, to be fair, to be a little bit more nimbler than Douthwaite feeling that position? But anyway, we'll discuss that later. Here's the next ball. Down the pitch he comes, and that's going to be 4 runs the moment he left the bat. Salt running down to that and hitting it past the bowler. No chance at all of any chance, and that's 4 more.
It's a strong shot, that, isn't it? Just shimmy down the pitch a little bit, flat batted it through long on for 4.
That's hit with it even bigger force than that's 4 between sort of cow corner and long on. You can call it slogging as you like, but as you say, Steve, they can take every chance in the book. You've got a huge score coming up here.
Yeah, in fairness, it was quite a controlled hit. He knew exactly where he's trying to hit that. As you say, long on's back and deep mid-wicket. There's a big gap between them. That's exactly where he's aiming. I'm not sure he quite got hold of it, but he knew exactly where he's hitting that.
Well, if you're just coming in for work, or you're just coming in for your tea or whatever, you're tuned in, sorry news here is that Sussex won the toss. They elected to bat, and they're 104 for no wicket, and this after 9 overs, and Nick, we haven't reached the halfway stage.
No, Glamorgan have managed 1 decent over, haven't they, from Salter, that conceded 4 runs, as Salter will continue, and Wright drives up to long on for the single. Batting to come then, Travis Head, Aaron Thomason, David Visa, Ravi Bopara, and the youngster Harrison Ward playing just his 2nd match. As Salter in and bowls, and Salt takes a single to mid-wicket, 106 without loss. Difficult for Glamorgan to regroup, I guess, and get their heads back together. Might be a few weary bodies after last night's match in Chelmsford, as that is a big heave by Wright and a miss, and again slightly ironic applause as Glamorgan beat the bat in the person of Andrew Salter.
Looks like that was an away swinger, that one.
Yes. Salter bowls a low full toss that's carted towards mid-wicket. Root gets everything behind it, and does the fielding.
Tired bodies, Nick, because they were only in the field for 12.2 overs last night, as 100 came up for Essex.
Salter in, and Salt takes a single down to square leg. In fact, they'll come back for a second this time as Billy Root tries to pick up on the run. Can't quite do so. Roman Walker completes the fielding. 109 for naught.
I mean, he did miss field, but they were coming back for 2 anyway. There was always 2 there, I think.
Yeah, it's a fair distance to make around that mid-wicket boundary. 109 without loss, Sussex. Salt 48, Wright 58. Phil Salt, the 25-year-old from Bodelwyddan, drives to long on. Carlson fields, and they'll take a single. 110 for naught. And 6 runs off the over, so Salter is doing something of a job in putting the brakes on, but you get the feeling that Glamorgan need a lot more than that. Sussex 110 for naught at halfway. Salt 49, Wright 58, Edward Bevan and Steve James.
Yeah, and Salter has already finished his 4 overs in those 10 overs that have been bowled. He bowled 4 overs, naught for 31. And he's one of every bowler has been punished heavily. Walker, Douthwaite, Lloyd and Pearce. And we've got a change of bowling. It's Wheeler coming on at the far end, and he is going to be bowling to Phil Salt. Needs 1 for his 50. And in comes the first ball, and that's played up to long on, and that is his 50. An equally good innings by Phil Salt. 27 balls, 8 fours in that. Raises his bat to the crowd. Plus they'll play a few shots now. Got their 50 apiece.
I was just about to say, shudder
to open up.
Shudder to think what could happen here.
Yes.
I mean, you just hope that Glamorgan can get 1 or 2 wickets and start to peg it back. But the longer these two at the crease, you do worry a little bit.
Wheel hasn't had a successful season at all with the ball. Let's see if he can do anything tonight. He's coming into right, bowls to him, bowls it short, and that's going to be 4 runs. Surely, why do you bowl it halfway down the wicket? I don't know.
Yeah, it's a bit of a top edge, isn't it? He's obviously got the fine leg is up, but I mean that's a very high bounce, and you've only just got to get something on that, and that's going to fly over the keeper or fly over short fine leg.
The crowd are rather hushed tonight, not surprising.
Well, they haven't got much to shed about, I'm afraid, at the moment, unless they're from Sussex.
In comes Wheel again, and bowls, and that's played. An inside-out shot there by Wright. He gets a single.
Yeah, I mean, mid-off's up there. He was trying to get that between mid-off and an extra cover, wasn't he? He gave himself some room. It was a low full toss.
What do you make of the wicket, Joe?
I think it looks a decent pitch, doesn't it? But I think when you've bowled a good length, there's been a little bit in it, I think. Just haven't bowled a good length very often.
Wheel in, bowls. That's hammered again. That's not going to be 4, but they'll come back and they'll have to run here hard. That would have been out, I think. Wheel tried to flick it back onto the stump very much as he ran.
Yeah, that was. I saw that against Surrey. That was brilliant. That was.
Yeah, from Wheel. Yeah, he just flicked it on.
Yeah, no, that was very good.
He tried to do the same thing, and I suspect that Wright would have been run out there had he hit.
I'm not sure, Edward, but yeah, he was trying to do the same thing, and that was brilliant. I saw that the other night against Surrey.
118 without loss is the score in the 11th over, and it's Wheel coming in and bowls, and that's flicked around the corner, half volley leg stump. Thank you very much. 4 runs.
6.
Oh, it took my head away. I've seen enough. And he's gone for 6.
It's just a bad line. He's just helped it on his way. There's a short boundary there to that sort of long leg area. Drifted down leg side, picked it up. This is absolute carnage.
Well, we thought last night was abysmal.
Yeah, I mean, it can be hard to come back from a night like last night, but I think it was good they picked the same side. You just say, look, you've got to go out and play better. Unfortunately, that hasn't happened.
Here is Wheel again. Comes in and bowls. Clips that. Didn't try to play the same shot, but didn't really time it. A single. That's 11 overs gone. 124 without loss. Wright is on 63 and Salt is on 58.
What do we think they're going to get here then?
220?
Yeah. What's been the highest score this season here in T20, Nick?
I think 200.
I think we may well go past that.
Oh yes,
we can say that for certain. I think. Glamorgan just desperately need a wicket and just hope it's hard for someone new coming in.
We saw at Bristol 216 for 2, so I think that might be broken tonight.
It was the first match of the season. I think it was the highest one here, wasn't it? Was 179 for Gloucestershire, just proving enough. Glamorgan 175.
friend of mine on Twitter, Richard Blight, who used to go to school with at Monmouth, he's asking where that power play today sort of ranks this season in terms of highest power plays. It must be up there, I reckon.
Oh, it has to be 77, yeah.
Here's Pearce then to bowl to Salt, who drives through the offside. There's a chase for Callum Taylor. He picks up well inside the extra covered boundary and somehow keeps them down to a single.
Imagine going out to chase this, Steve. 200 whatever it'll be.
126 for naught, 12th over. Sussex, since the start, really have been battering along at average of 10, 11 runs and over. And educational stuff for young Sam Pearce, 23-year-old Bridgend born. Captained Cardiff MCCU and Wales National County. Pearce bowls again. This one's swung up towards
6.
Long on, and it beats the jump of Carlson.
Beautiful shot.
Just inside the ropes. Well, if they'd had Carl Jamieson there, the New Zealander who played against Glamorgan the other night, he might have caught it.
I mean, in fairness, bowling spin at Cardiff is not easy with these short straight boundaries, is it? That's why England rarely play two spinners in T20 games here.
Next delivery from Pearce. Grips in the pitch a little bit, and it's played defensively for once.
I mean, that was a decent shot over long on, but it was hardly a massive hit, was it?
No.
Pearce in to bowl on leg stump and helped away by right. Just a single down to backward square. 133 for naught. Sussex
walked in today to the ground with the great Alan Jones, Steve, and his wife. He came up here to have a look.
36,000 first class runs.
Yeah, he didn't play any of this, and he didn't particularly want to, I don't think, Alan.
Pearce bowls, and that's hit straight to backward point by Salt. Another dot ball.
He'd have been running down to the spinners, Alan is. Yeah. He did like running down the spinners and whacking them back over their head. He'd have been alright at this, I reckon, Al.
133 for naught, as that's a full toss that's hit up towards long off and bisects long on and long off. Full Salt, and it is 137 without loss after 12 overs.
I mean, you feel a little bit sorry for Pearce.
Of course you do.
He's on a bit of a hide into nothing here. He hasn't bowled too badly, in fairness, but he's just come on in a situation where Sussex are like a runaway train, aren't they?
I have to do this, I'm sorry, but I'll go through some bowling figures.
Oh dear, it's not after 9 o'clock, Edward. Parents of impressionable youngsters, please cover your ears.
Salter has bowled out 4 overs for 31. Walker 2 overs for 29. Douthwaite 1 over for 9. Lloyd 1 over for 17. Pearce has bowled 3 overs for 35, and Wheels bowled 1 over for 14, who has been taken off, and Douthwaite is coming back to bowl at the river end. Figures that bear any resemblance to accuracy there. 1 over for 9, and he's bowling to right, to his iron up 100, I think, tonight. In he comes and bowls to him, and that has gone high in the air, and that is gone. Yes, he's out to the ground, I think. Steve, I think that's what he meant with it.
It's about 2 or 3 rows back, I think it bounced. Callum Taylor, there he is, picking up after the second row.
I don't think I've seen an innings like this for many, many years in this competition, as quick and as fierce.
I don't think he didn't really get hold of that. I think initially Luke Wright thought he was out there, but they are short, those straight boundaries. Went up a long way, that shot.
Not out 76, he's faced 39 balls. And it's 143 for no wicket, as Dan Douthwaite turns again, comes in over the wicket, past the umpire now, and bowls, and that's the full toss. It's pulled out to mid-on. I think full toss is not a bad, a low full toss in this sort of cricket. This is only the 13th over.
I've seen a few shots already.
Sussex openers creating havoc here. There's Douthwaite in now to Salt, bowls to him, and bowls him off stump, and a huge roar from the crowd. No, Salt is looking at, it's a straight ball, pal, and off you go. He looks back, and Well, it was a good innings. He was very much behind his partner, but he did contribute 63, and that has given them an absolutely flying start. But although I shouldn't say this, I don't think Ravi Bopara or Travis Head coming next can score quite as quickly as that.
Yeah, I think that was a slow ball, wasn't it? I think it might have actually turned a bit. I think that's why I saw maybe looking at the pitch like that.
So Phil Salt departs with his white hair, and looking back at that, we were just held up, and Douthwaite gets his first wicket of the innings.
Well, I was just about to look up his highest score in T20 cricket, which is 78, so he hasn't got there. Luke Wright's highest score in T20 cricket
Must have had 100.
is a Sussex record. It's a bit more than 100, Steve. It's 153. It's the county's record, which is 37 more than the Glamorgan record, held by one Ian Thomas.
At Taunton.
I've never heard him talk about that.
No.
He's never mentioned it.
No.
Well, the new batsman is the former England all-rounder Ravi Bopara, and he is facing Dan Douthwaite, who comes in and bowls to him, and he plays it away up to long on. Minor collision between bowler and batsman, but he's off the mark. And Bopara will probably say to himself, over to you, Luke.
Odd seeing Ravi Bopara playing for Sussex.
Yeah.
All those, how many years did he have at Essex?
65.
Good few years.
Anyway, it's right facing. Douthwaite is in, bowls to him and goes to cut, and he's gone to the wicket. He's gone. 2 wickets in 3 balls, and the 2 openers have gone, and a huge cheer again. He went to cut a wide ball. It was a good catch. It was flying through, and Cooke took it above his right shoulder. So 145 for 2, gentlemen.
It's amazing how often that happens, isn't it?
It does.
Get one, get 2. It wasn't quite as wide as Wright thought. He just got a little bit tucked up, and I think that ball just stuck in the pitch a little bit, which is something I've been saying since the start, really, isn't it? I think Glamorgan haven't bowled into the pitch enough on this wicket. I did say I thought maybe get 1 wicket and things could change. So hopefully, for Glamorgan's sake, it'll be difficult for new batsmen coming in.
Well, let's hope so, because it was absolute carnage. 145 for 2. 2 wickets going for the addition of only 1 run. And the new batsman is the Australian Test batsman Travis Head. He's a left-hander, and these are going to try and carry on the good work. Power's on 1. Not out his head. He's facing his first ball. The man of the moment, Douthwaite's coming up and bowls to him, and he plays it up to mid-off, and there's no run. Dan Douthwaite completes that over, and has taken 2 wickets in 2 overs, now 18.
That's roused the crowd at last,
a little bit. Yeah,
something to cheer about.
The answer to your question, Steve, Ravi Bopara spent 18 years at Essex, 2002 to 2019. We've got the delights. It's a very spaced out Mexican wave. Is that
no, an idiot? An idiot.
An idiot. Oh yes, there's an idiot being removed.
And he will be removed from the field, and that is the end of his day or evening at the cricket.
145 for 2 then. 7 overs left for Sussex. They should still get over 200 as Callum Taylor comes on to try his luck with his off spin. Glamorgan's 7th bowler, and he's coming round the wickets to bowl to Ravi Bopara, and that's down, fired down leg side, and wide is duly called. Umpires tonight, Paul Pollard and Ian Ramage. Taylor tosses the ball from one hand to the other, comes in, half a dozen steps, bowls outside off stump, played out into the offside. David Lloyd dives but doesn't make contact, so they'll get 2 runs as it's swept up on the cover boundary by Pearce. 1 for 8 for 2. Taylor bowls again, straight driven back to him by Bopara, well fielded by the bowler in his follow through.
Oh, it's nice to see some quiet cricket for a few balls.
In comes Taylor again, bowls, Bopara drives up towards long off, Salter is behind it and keeps them down to a single. 149 for 2, but even if Sussex would go at a run of ball from here on, it would still be a formidable total of 180 or thereabouts.
That's the trouble, isn't it?
186 actually.
I think that's all they'll look to do for the next couple of overs as well. Just knock it around, simply because they can.
Head on strike. Not sure if James Kirtley will be agreeing with that one. In comes Taylor and bowls, and head steps back and slashes it through the covers for 4 runs. They're not sitting back and knocking it round, Steve.
Well, that was a long hop.
Yeah, that was sitting up to be hit, wasn't it?
Yeah. 153 for 2.
Short and wide. Maybe not that wide. He gave himself a little bit of room, but certainly short enough to crack away. Hit that hard head on them.
So the Australian international faces up again, having got off the mark in some style. 153 for 2. Taylor bowls, and that hits the pads. There's an appeal from the crowd in desperation.
Very difficult to get a LBW from around the wicket there, unless it turns.
Bowls flat outside off stump and caned away, and well stopped by Roman Walker. At backward point, 153 for 2, 8 runs off the over, including 1 boundary, and well, I suppose that's something around that is the best Glamorgan can hope for, really, with Sussex having so many wickets in the bank, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit more of a contest at the moment, isn't it? With the way Wright and Salt were going, it was just all going one way, wasn't it? A bit of luck as well. All the momentum was with Sussex.
Well, Douthwaite full of confidence now, having taken 2 for 17 in his 2, is marshalling the field, and he will be bowling to Bopara. He's on 4, as is Travis Head. In comes Douthwaite, bowls to Bopara, who drives elegantly for 4 through or past mid-off. Beautiful shot by Bopara. He's such a good cricketer. That was pitched right up.
That's such a good cricket shot, isn't it?
Beautiful shot. I would say that's the best shot we've seen. You may think I'm a bit crazy.
It's certainly the most classical shot we've seen tonight. Yeah. It was a half volley, but he's caressed that between mid-off and extra cover. Beautiful shot.
He waits again as in comes Douthwaite, bowls to him. He plays that, nudges it rather than plays it, and they go through for a single out to square leg. Score was on 159 for 2, and Surrey looking for well in excess of 200, which I fear, Steve, will be a long, long way from Glamorgan, who without their 2 most successful batsmen in 2020 cricket this season, Selman and Marnus Labuschagne, of course.
We'll have to be careful what we say, Edward. The chief executive just arrived in the box.
Where's he batting?
Mr. Morris.
Perhaps he'd like a bat.
We could do with a Morris moose over mid-wicket tonight.
In comes Douthwaite and bowls again, and this hits him with the pad, and he's appealing for something, I don't know quite what. Nobody else is bothered. And the score remains on 158 for 2.
He obviously thought Travis Head had got an inside edge.
Yeah, Cooke didn't move though, did he?
It's actually gone through quite decently, isn't it?
158 for 2 then, 6 overs remaining. Travis Head, nice composed stance, the crease waits now. As in comes the next ball, that's wide and hammered away up to deep extra cover in front of the pavilion away to our left, and they go through for a single. I suppose if those 2 had carried on, you would have been talking about 240 or something like that, the rate they were going.
Sussex is indeed the highest total against Glamorgan in this competition, 239 for 5 by Sussex at Hove 2010. Do you remember that one, Edward?
Probably. 40 years of work, probably. That's beaten the bats from Bapar. It was a wideish delivery. He went to try and drive it through the onside, but I think did Luke Wright get runs at that? He probably did. 2000. Anyway,
Who got them, Nick? Do you know? You don't know?
No.
2010.
You got no idea about that game, Bez, have you?
I do.
Well, you've seen quite a lot of cricket.
I've seen a bit of it. Yeah. This is angled down towards fine leg, and it'll be 2 more runs. At least the pace has slowed rather dramatically. That's the end of the over. 5 overs left, 161 for 2. This is the time for them to accelerate, Steve, as they haven't accelerated during this innings enough.
Yeah, I think we've seen enough for that already, haven't we? They're obviously in a great position, aren't they?
Steve, the top scorer in that Sussex top score against Glamorgan was someone for whom you have written a book.
Matt Pryor.
Correct. 117 not out.
Okay.
Chris Nash 60 not out.
I did ghost a book for him once, you're right.
As Taylor bowls to Head, who drives up to long on. And they go through for a single.
Good knowledge, Nick.
That you wrote the book?
Yeah, I ghosted Matt Pryor's book. Yeah.
I think you mentioned it. 162 for 2. Taylor in to Bupara on 11 not out. Gives himself a little bit of room, but Taylor follows him, and it's a single down to square leg. 163 for 2. Relative quiet after the mayhem that Sussex openers Salt and Wright caused. Down the wicket comes Head, hits it very hard indeed. Kieran Carlson gets behind it well on the long off boundary and keeps them down to a single.
He did hit that hard, didn't he?
Yeah.
Well, it was hit so fiercely that you half expected to see it bouncing away off Carlson's hands, didn't you? Even though he's a decent fielder. Because he had some distance to make to it. He's quite wide there at long on stroke long off. That's hit up in the air, should be caught at third man. It is. Bapara has gone for 12 and Callum Taylor has claimed the third wicket for Glamorgan.
Yeah, Bapara's going to go straight down the ground there, wasn't he? It was actually quite a good length and bounced a bit, didn't it? And I think that's why he's got the edge there, the short third man.
James Wheel took the simple catch at short third man, just on the edge of the circle. And if you reflect, Steve, I mean, the Sussex openers got a few through third man, and if one of those had gone hand early on, it might have been a very different story.
Yeah, they had some luck, didn't they? I think all this is showing now that it's not that easy to come in and smack it straight away.
No.
Yeah, this fella can play a bit too.
I mean, the power play was absolutely vital, and Glamorgan will recognise that and know they're going to have to go very, very hard in their power play if they can have any chance of chasing this down, I think.
Well, they always do, don't they? They often lose wickets by going hell for leather from the word go. But tonight, I agree. You've just got to go from ball 1 and hope for the best.
164 for 3 as Visa takes guard. Experienced South African, now playing as an overseas player for Sussex, along with Travis Head, as he's forcing this one through the offside, but just a single. 165 for 3 as the throw comes in. It's a strange sort of atmosphere in the crowd now. It's just a gentle chatter after all the
Lord Mayor's show.
Mayhem, yes, after the Lord Mayor's show slightly, as Glamorgan looked to put the brakes on. Taylor fires that one in quickly, and Head just works it away on the leg side for a single. Bowler fields himself towards mid-wicket. 166 for 3. 16 overs gone here on BBC Sport Online. Steve James and Edward Bevan.
It's interesting to sort of try and work out what Sussex will be happy with now. I mean, had that start and the position they were in.
Yeah. They'll be happy with 200. I would have thought they should get 200. If they don't get 200, then Glamorgan will have done well, but it's very much on the cards. And
I think there's always a danger that you try and go too high from this position, and you end up losing a cluster of wickets and not getting as many as you might like. I'm still not sure it's that easy to score. I know that sounds silly with the score reading what it does.
Well, Roman Walker's coming back. He's going around the wicket ahead and bowls to him, and he plays off the back foot. And is he going to get 4 runs? No, it's very well fielded by Salter just inside the boundary. And it's just the 1 run. It could easily have been 4. And when you look back at the last few games, you see Glamorgan have only been against Middlesex. It's Middlesex 171 for 3. And when they played Gloucestershire, 216 for 2. But they're not taking wickets, this attack. And you wonder then, is there anybody else could be brought in? But it appears that there isn't, or have the name of Michael Hogan, but he hasn't played in any. As Walker comes in and bowls, and this is cloth more than anything for a single out to mid-wicket. All right, Hogan is 40 years of age. You've better control than anybody out there, but I suppose they want to keep him for the return of the 4-day matches, which start on Sunday.
That would make sense, wouldn't it?
In comes Walker, bowls to head again. Head tries a huge shot there. Excuse the pun, but it was head up, trying to hit it wherever he got through the covers, but he didn't, and it went through to the keeper. You mentioned earlier on, Steve, that Roman Walker was generating some pace, and I think he's a good prospect.
Again there, he's hit a decent length.
Bowled pretty well last night. He's in again, round the wicket, bowls to head. Head has pulled that out towards mid-wicket. He'll only get a single. In comes Pearce's lovely return into Cooke's gloves on the full. That is the end of another over. 169 for 3. No, it isn't.
2 more.
2 more. Miscounted that. And it brings David Visa up to.
He's got one of those retro Newbury bats, isn't he?
Is he? Good eyes, Jay.
Yeah.
This is cut for 4. Too short then from Walker, but he picked it up very quickly, didn't he? Cut it backward of square for 4 runs.
Yeah, it's not a great ball that with third man up, is it?
No.
It's fairly easy there to bisect short third man and backward point.
What's retro about them then, Steve? The shape or the stickers?
Both, I think. But I'm sure there's a lot more wood in them than there was back in the.
That's your excuse.
Well, we used to use toothpicks, didn't we?
Yeah, I would agree. As a peel, should out, yeah. I thought it might be. Walker ball to Visa, trying to clip it through mid-wicket. He's gone LBW. Well ball, Roman Walker.
It looked plumb, that, didn't it? It's gone across his stumps, looking to heave away to the leg side boundary. Look, he's gone a long way across there and sitting straight in front.
Well, credit, we've been pretty scathing about the bowling attack, but to their credit, they have fought back well in the last few overs. All credit to them, because this could have been a total out of all proportion.
Yeah, they have. It's what I said. Once you get 1 wicket, then things can change a bit. I think it's also showing it's not an absolute belt of a pitch.
I agree.
And not that easy to score when you come in later on and the ball's a bit softer and gripping on the pitch. So, as I said earlier, that's something that Glamorgan need to be wary of. Won't be an easy chase, that's for certain.
Next side bowler returning to bowl at the Cathedral Road end, James Wheel.
So James Wheel to bowl his second over. 17 gone, 173. The scoring rate has come down to mere just over 10. Black humour, I'm afraid, this evening is all that's going to get us through after many miles on the motorway, and a few more to come for me tomorrow night.
Yes, down to Hove.
Down to Hove, as Wheel is in to bowl, and that's played by head up to long on for a single, 174 for 4. down to Hove after, well, up to 40 overs in the field in the afternoon.
Well, I do hope that queue we saw this afternoon when the M4 was closed at the Bath turn-off has stopped, because it was going back almost.
Sadly, a very serious-looking accident on the London-bound
to Bristol.
You're playing tomorrow, Nick? You?
Yes.
For Macon
seconds, because they haven't got a thirds.
Against whom?
Abercunnan at home. 174 for 4. As Wheel steams in and bowls, and that's flayed out to cover and caught. Ward has gone without scoring. Harrison Ward, the young man, playing just his second game, and well, he got a fair bat on it, but not quite enough, and Billy Root took a good catch hip high, backpedaling towards the cover point boundary.
His short ball just outside off stump to the left-hander, wasn't he? He just basically stood there and slapped it. He's actually hit it pretty well, as you said, Nick, but straight to Billy Root there. It's a deep cover.
It's a collapse. Sussex have lost 5 wickets for 30.
Well, it is a relative collapse, isn't it?
Yes. Trouble is when you've got 144 on the board before the wickets start falling, it's all a little bit irrelevant, as Aaron Thomason comes in at 7 for Sussex, a little bit lower than we thought he might. Bapara batted 3, Head 4, Visa 5, Ward briefly 6, perishing in the cause. It's Head who's got back on strike and chops that one down between 2 fielders in the circle. It's a bit of a chase for Roman Walker. He just flicks it back inside. They'll look for 3. That was good running from Thomason, and he is safely back as the throw trickles into the stumps at the non-striker's end.
Yeah, I was saying, well done for Glamorgan's bowlers, as 5 wickets have fallen for just 30 runs after the mayhem before. So who knows, with only 2 overs left, perhaps they won't get Steve James to 200.
Thomason, a former Warwickshire player, spent half a dozen seasons in the white ball squad there, made his Sussex debut a couple of years back. James Wheel, former Durham player, signed by Glamorgan just before the start of the season. Tall, shaven-headed, fast approach, bowls, and niddled away by Thomason on the leg side, just the single out to Billy Root at mid-wicket. Well, Glamorgan have done a reasonably tidy job in the final third of this innings, but the situation was such that it may not affect the result of the game.
Operation drag back.
Head on 14 is on strike as Wheel steams in again, bowls, and that's hit out towards mid-wicket, and 6 runs. A despairing leap by Andrew Salter away to our left. He
got a hand to it.
Got a hand to it, but I think he was, to be fair, probably landing over the boundary even if he'd clung on to that one. It was hit with tremendous force, and he had to almost try and claw it infield while he was in the air.
That was a great effort,
decent effort.
Terrific.
Great effort, and it's not a long boundary there, is it, with a rope there in front of the pavilion.
Catch of the season if you'd taken that.
180 being a physical impossibility, I think, to stay in the field of play. 184 for 5, and the next one is big over long on, and that's another 6 for Travis Head. It moves on to 26, totaled on to 190 for 5. It's coming in fast and it's going back fast, Steve.
Yeah, that's a good shot, isn't it? The left-hander, Travis Head, he's cleared his front leg, hasn't he, and flat battered that down the ground. He knew exactly where he's trying to hit that. He's hit that with tremendous power. But in fairness, Wheel has just landed it right in the slot where he wanted it.
That incidentally was the 2nd wicket for Wheel this season in 2020 cricket, and I think he has a huge amount to learn to bowl in this sort of cricket. Well, Dan Delthwaite, the man who took those 2 important wickets, is coming back, and there are 2 overs left of this contest. The first half of it, then. What will the second half bring? Delthwaite has a practice ball as he brings his deep mid-wicket into the ring. So there's a long off and a long on. Fine leg, deep extra cover. Douthwaite then for far end bowls, and that's pitched up and hit down towards long on. So Thomason just doing what he's supposed to there, giving the bowling to Travis Head. He's on 26. 191 for 5. And Douthwaite will come round the wicket to the left-hander as the field adjusts quite quickly. It's gone rather cloudy. It was a very pleasant evening earlier on, but not so good now. Here's Douthwaite into the left-handed Head, bowls, and that's hit out towards mid-wicket. Is anybody there?
Out. Yeah.
It's a marvellous catch. Whoever took it down on the Carlson was it? He ran about 20 yards and took a wonderful catch low down, and that is the end of Travis Head as he tries to get as many runs as they can towards the end of the innings. Well, it really was a terrific effort by Kieran Carlson down by the river.
Yeah, much bigger boundary out that way. Slightly shorter of a length. He slapped it out there, but never looked like going the distance. Good running catch by Kieran Carlson.
So Douthwaite, the man of the moment, is picking up wickets for fun here. He's picked up his third now, and 3 important wickets he has picked up. When you saw that they were all out for 103, Steve, last night, Sussex, it makes you wonder what had these openers failed this evening, that could have followed the same pattern, because they haven't looked very convincing, have they? 191 for 6.
I'm slightly worried it's not that easy a pitch to score on.
Well, it hasn't been particularly easy all season on this pitch, is it? Because they played a few games on it. Anyway, the new batsman is Beer, the leg spinner. Will Beer, as in comes Douthwaite, bowls the first ball to him, and he's hit that out to long off, where it's fielded and returned. 192 for 6 as we approach the end of the middle of the penultimate over. So they should really get to 200. 2 new batsmen though at the crease. Thompson takes guard.
Yeah, I think Douthwaite's bowling has been a considerable plus for the team in this competition this season.
Yeah, leading wicket taker by a long way.
Yeah, he's done well.
14 now.
Here he comes again and bowls, and that's pulled, dragged away up to deep mid-wicket. It was a little finer than mid-wicket. He's more or less cow corner. They take a single. 193 for 6. Few people in tonight away in the big bank and in front of us.
They're all so spread out, aren't they? 2,000-ish capacity.
600 last night we had at Essex. The usual partisan Essex crowd. As Douthwaite is in, bowls, and he tries to flay that as Thomason, but doesn't get anything on it, and he goes through to Cooke.
Yeah, could hardly believe we were at Chelmsford last night. It was relatively sedate with only 600 in. West Ham fans were elsewhere preparing for
the Germans.
Well, or celebrating the victory over Germany and preparing for the Ukraine.
In comes Douthwaite, bowls, and that's beaten him. That's a very good over again by Douthwaite, and that is his lot for the evening. 4 overs, no maidens, 3 for 29. Or 28, is it?
28.
28. Very well bowled.
That really is magnificent figures, isn't it, Steve, considering what was going on elsewhere?
Yeah, I was going to say, in the circumstances, that is a great effort, isn't it? But I mean, as I mentioned earlier, he's been good in T20 this year. He's one real positive that Glamorgan can take from this competition, I think.
Now, who's going to bowl the last one? Roman Walker, is it? Or has he bowled out?
Roman Walker it is.
Walker. Yeah.
It was one that was mentioned by Matthew Maynard last night as one of the positives from the last week or so.
Douthwaite or Walker? Both.
Walker, well.
Yeah, no, Walker's done well as well.
Yeah, having been brought into the side
at the last moment.
Relatively late on Sunday when Salman's COVID test became known and Labuschagne and Neser were unavailable as a result. Walker bowls, slower ball, carted round to square leg by Beer for a single. 194 for 6. So Thomason on strike. Wonder what Tymal Mills is going to bowl this evening. How many of his very slower balls and how many of his very quicker balls. Walker runs in, bowls to Thomason. Oh, that slip. That's a full toss down the leg side, and it's a no ball.
No ball.
Above waist.
We did him.
He just got and a warning.
It's a warning. I don't think it made contact with the batsman at all, but it is
free hit.
A free hit. Oh dear.
I haven't seen a lot of those this season.
No, there've been very few, haven't there? Not sure if I've noticed any front foot no balls. That one was just a pure accident from Walker, but he might pay for it, as it'll be 4 runs down. Wide of fine leg. It slipped down the leg side, would have been called wide anyway, and the Sussex 200 is up in this 20th over as Thomason duly takes advantage of the freebie.
I'm so glad I didn't say what I was going to say. What was that? I used to have a theory that free hits never went for boundaries.
Scrap that one.
No, you do it now. Yeah, it wasn't a great ball, was it?
200 for 6, and there are 4 balls of this innings remaining. Walker is in to bowl. That's smashed out towards square leg by Thomason, well fielded by Pearce. Single taken. 201 for 6. Thomason to 8, not out. The batsman out. Salt for 63, Wright for 77, Bapara 12, Head 26, Visa 6, Ward without scoring. Thomason is 8, Beer is 2, and there are 3 deliveries of the Sussex innings remaining here on BBC Sport Online, and we're dead on 6:45. So Glamorgan in time. That's outside off stump, but slightly slow ball, was that, Steve?
Bounced, didn't it?
Bit of bounce in it. And the attempted uppercut of Beer did not make contact. 2 balls of the innings left. Walker has gone for 1 for 44. But this one could be 2 for 44. It's swung up towards mid-wicket. Billy Root takes the catch. Beer's gone for 2. 201 for 7.
Again, it's a bit bigger out that way, isn't it? Towards the main grandstand. Never looked like making the distance. What's been happening these last few overs concerns me, because it doesn't look that easy to put back to ball, is it, on this pitch? If you bowl well and go into the pitch a lot and vary your paces quite well, it's hard to score, I think.
It's very hard to score to the openers, but
no, but since the ball's got softer, it's not easy, I don't think.
144 off 12.3 overs. Salt 63, Wright 77. Walker is in for the last ball of the innings. It's hit right up in the air by Thomason. Fielders underneath it. Who's going to catch it? Dan Douthwaite is going to hold on to a ball that went up floodlight high, and Roman Walker ends with his 2nd and 3rd wicket, and Sussex end on 201 for 8, having been 144 for no wicket in the 13th, Steve. So I suppose Welsh supporters and listeners and viewers will be grateful for small mercies. It could have been worse.
Yeah, it was a good fight back by Glamorgan, and as Edward mentioned, I mean, you do wonder what might have happened if Glamorgan had managed to get an early wicket. I fear that is a massive score on this pitch.
Yeah,
I hope for Glamorgan's sake and their supporters I'm wrong, but unless Glamorgan get an absolute flyer like Sussex did, I think they'll really struggle with that.
What do you reckon is wrong with this pitch, Steve?
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I just think once the ball's a bit softer, it's a little bit too paced and not that easy to score, which has been sort of fairly typical of the pitches we've seen. We've seen that card in T20 this season, I think.
I wasn't here to watch the one-day internationals. We were away doing this. What were the pitches like for that? Were they?
So I've got to be careful what I say. Mr. Morris standing next to me might get a dig in the ribs. But
journalistic integrity, Steve.
I'll be honest, as I ever am. I think the first pitch was okay, a little bit too paced, but the second game on the same pitch was not as good, especially when England batted second. There were a few balls there flying through to Jason Moore early on, and then a few which didn't go through at the same pace. So that wasn't such a good pitch, I think.
It's the one,
Even Mr. Morris might admit that, but I'm not sure whether. No, he's shaking his head. But that's my.
Say if you want to.
That's my opinion on it.
There we are then. 201 for 80 on BBC Sport Online. Salt 63, Wright 77. Those innings coming off 35 and 41 balls respectively. 3 wickets apiece in the end for Dan Douthwaite, who bowled excellently. 3 for 28. Roman Walker 3 for 44. Otherwise a wicket apiece for James Wheel and for Callum Taylor. Glamorgan will go off in search of 202 to win at 10.1 runs per over. It will be a formidable task for the home side. We'll be back in 5 to 10 minutes time here on BBC Sport Online.
So welcome back to pitch side here. Croeso cynnes nôl I ochr y cae yma. So 202 the target to win this evening. Sussex in fine form there, to be fair. David Harrison's joined me here. David, what do you make of that innings? A good batting display there by Sussex.
Yeah, they played well, didn't they? I mean, Luke Wright and Phil Salt are dangerous players in this format. But it looks a good pitch. It's a good chance to chase down 202.
Does that change anything for you guys with your batting order, what you saw there from the pitch and from what they put on the board as such?
I think it'll be a similar batting order. I think with the big score, you know what you got to go and do. You got to play positively. If you get a good power play, keep wickets in hand, you've got a chance.
And from the other night's defeat last night, it's important to bounce back, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Obviously, yesterday was disappointed against Essex, but if we can go into the 4-day campaign on the weekend on the back of a win tonight, that'd be great for the boys' confidence.
And a quick word, obviously it's been a long 15, 16, 18 months, wherever it's been, we're losing track of time a bit, but how great is it to have all the fans back here tonight enjoying themselves and live cricket, once again, there for them to watch?
Yeah, of course. I mean, the fans have missed out on cricket for a period of time now, and to see a really good crowd here tonight's great. Hopefully we can send them home with a victory tonight.
David, thanks for your time. Get back inside and we'll speak to you later. Diolch fawr iawn. Diolch fawr iawn. Right, we'll be back shortly with more entertainment and the boys will be back on the pitch before we know it. Enjoy the interval.
good evening and welcome back to Sophia Gardens here on BBC Sport Online and also via the Glamorgan cricket website for the second half of this match between Glamorgan and Sussex in the T20 Blast, with Glamorgan chasing a formidable target of 202 in 20 overs. That's damage done almost entirely by Phil Salt, who made 63, and Luke Wright, who made 77, Travis Head 26, but the rest of the batting fell away slightly in comparison, as Glamorgan, believe it or not, actually pegged Sussex back in the closing overs. It's 202 to win. It's Kieran Carlson and David Lloyd who will not die wondering, I'm sure. Steve James and Edward Bevan.
I was just telling Nick there, Steve, that looking at the comparisons, last 5 overs, 39 runs only was scored, which is low when you're in such a strong position.
Yeah, I mean, I think that goes back to my earlier point about the pitch.
Back well,
and yeah, not easy to score once the ball became a little bit softer. I think this power play is absolutely critical.
Well, it'll be David Weezer with his medium pace bowling from the river end. The light not good. Comes in and bowls the first ball, and Carlson fiddles outside the off stump. So confident are Sussex, they've got a slip in. But that went through.
Yeah, that is bounce. Carlson's looking suspiciously at the pitch, and I think I probably would be if I'd come out to open and saw that first ball.
Were the chief executive still here? We could ask him why they're not
he's
using lights when... Oh, now they are coming on slowly.
he's gone.
Weezer in again, bowls Carlson.
No ball.
No ball. Well, here's a chance for some runs. 2 runs on the ball already. And it's quite sharp, isn't he, Weezer? Now then.
You two were saying earlier you hadn't seen too many front foot no balls.
I hadn't this season. They've been very disciplined, bowlers have. But there we are, we've seen 2 now. Weezer, another man with a ponytail. Turns, comes in and bowls and beats him again outside the off stump. So it didn't matter a lot, that. 2 without loss after 3. 2 legitimate balls.
It's a shame for Kieran Carlson. That was a good opportunity to get himself going. I looked as if it actually swung a bit. It was very full, almost a low full toss, but just swung. And he cleared his leg out of the way, Kieran Carlson, didn't he?
Perhaps that's why he does, because he swings the ball. They don't swing for long, these white balls. And he comes again, bowls, and 4 identical shots. He's fiddling outside the off stump, and each ball is past the bat and gone through to Phil Salt, keeping wicket.
Yeah, I mean, slightly. That was a good length, wasn't it?
Yeah,
looked a decent ball, in fairness.
It's disciplined, Stephen. It hit in the right spot, outside the off stump, not giving them any chance for leverage. And then you got 1, 2, 3, 5 on the offside. Here's the next ball, and that is driven up towards mid-on, and Carlson is off the mark. Scores on to 3. And David Lloyd, who was run out by a 60-yard throw last night, direct hit, and he was playing very nicely in fairness, and that happens. Then Carlson was caught with a chap leaning over the boundary as it was going for 6, so it wasn't the greatest of starts. 21 Lloyd had, but he hasn't had a poor season by any means. As Weezer comes in, bowls to Lloyd down the leg side. That'll be called a wide, which it is by that's not very nice. So you probably heard it for effects, Mike. Come on, weasel. To tell the gentleman shouting that, it's not a weasel. It's, you'd think it's wise, but it's Weezer, South African. As here he comes again, bowls to David Lloyd, who plays defensively in the line of leg stump. That's a good first over. Then just the 4 runs, but there's 1 to go, of course, because of the wide. Long over, because there's also been a no ball in it.
Glamorgan be quite grateful for the no ball on the wide, actually.
They've got to go 10 and over.
We'll get them in extras.
Weezer in again, bowls to Lloyd, who cuts down towards third man, and he retains strike, single. First over gone, 5 without loss, and 1 apiece to Kieran Carlson and David Lloyd. Steve James.
Yeah, it's not the blistering start they might have wanted, but it's okay, I suppose. As I said earlier, I think this first 6 overs decides the game. If Glamorgan don't get off to a fly, I can't see him chasing or getting anywhere near this total, if I'm totally honest. I said it when Glamorgan were bowled, I didn't think they bowled into the pitch enough. Judging by that first over, that looks to be Sussex's plan.
Mitch Clayton's going to bowl from this end, former Kent and Durham bowler. Hasn't played hardly at all this season because of a misdemeanour on his part, Nick, which you've probably heard about, and here he is.
Indeed, announced his retirement at the end of the season as well, as Clayton is in to bowl, and that's hit straight up in the air, but he might get away with it actually. It's gone over. Has that carried over long leg for 6?
No, 4. Dropped aside.
Phil saw it on the boundary edge.
I thought that one from David Lloyd, I thought it was going straight up in the air, but it didn't.
The screens are saying 6, aren't they? But
yeah,
is it? I don't know. Maybe it has gone over, is it?
No, forward was signalled.
Well, we're seeing a replay. It was very close. 4.
I was right first time.
Correct decision by the umpires. I just thought it had gone straight up. Clayton is in to bowl to Lloyd, who forces backward of square. Should get a couple of runs here as he turns and dashes back. The throw is slightly wayward, so he is back comfortably.
Just went so high, didn't it? That one you were talking about the ball before.
Yeah,
it was an attempted sweep.
Well, the keeper was down there trying to catch it a yard from the boundary. Tells you how long it stayed up in the air.
11 for naught Glamorgan, the second over, chasing 202 as that's mistimed by Lloyd. Looking to flat bat it back past the bowler and just hit it back to the veteran seamer.
I think that's what Steve's been explaining to us, was that ball. Again, had it gone to the normal pace, it probably would have been 4, but it just stopped a little. Yeah. Slip has come out now.
11 without loss Glamorgan, with the floodlights now in full effect, as that's 6 more for David Lloyd. Nice pick up over backwards square leg. The fielder on the boundary could do nothing about that, and that is the sort of pace that Glamorgan need to score at, plus some. They're 17 for naught in the second.
No, it's a very good shot that from David Lloyd.
He's played some terrific shots in this competition this year.
Just straight towards leg stump on that length where he's able just to pick it up over square leg.
17 for naught. Clayton into bowl, and that's run down to point, but this time finding the fielder, and it's a dot ball. Matthew Maynard said last night, well, we've messed David Lloyd around a little bit because he was doing well as opener, but he was then asked to do 4 and 3. But they're going to stick with this combination, Carlson and Lloyd, for the remaining matches in all probability. But Glamorgan do have 2 championship matches before the 13th of their group games in this. As Clayton is in to bowl to Lloyd, who gets a top edge over the keeper for 4 runs. 21 without loss. Glamorgan 16 off that Clayton over, and Glamorgan are up with the run rate. Easy job this, Steve.
Yeah, well, Sussex can't complain either because they had plenty of them, didn't they? Yeah, short balls, just try to pull away, top edge over the keeper, 4 runs, thank you very much. Yeah, good, very good start. As I said, if Glamorgan are going to have any chance, this power play has to produce a lot of runs.
Yep, 21 without loss, and it will be good for the crowd as well who've come to see some entertainment, and hope Glamorgan, I can't see them winning it, but at least making an effort. Tymal Mills is coming on to bowl, who has represented England, and he's a very clever bowler, can bowl a very quick ball. Anyway, he's coming in and bowls to Kieran Carlson, who plays a lovely shot for 4 runs. Backward of square, it was marginally short outside the off stump, crashed it away. At least Glamorgan are making a fist of this to start the innings, Steve.
Yeah, I think if it's just slightly off on this pitch, especially with a new ball, you can play his shots, and that was slightly wide, and Kieran Carlson is particularly good there when he throws his hands in it, and he's timed that beautifully behind square on the offside for 4.
The new captain of Glamorgan for the Royal London competition, which I'm looking forward to. 50 overs, see a lot of young Glamorgan players playing because of the other competition that's going on, as Mills comes in and bowls again, and this is the time he tries to make room for that, Carlson, but Mills' ball is just a little bit shorter.
Slower ball, that maybe?
Difficult to say from here, isn't it? Hello, we've got floodlights in Cardiff.
See, Owen Morgan was mentioning Mills last week, wasn't he?
He did. We have not forgotten you, or something he said.
Talking about players who could still force their way into the England side for that World T20 this autumn.
Yeah. Been played in the UAE now, isn't it?
Yeah, moved from India, yeah.
Mills racing in, over the wicket, left arm, bowls. That's going to be... Oh, I thought there was a man there. Cuts it over where Gully would have been, or about 5th slip in the air. But he gets a single. 5 runs off the over, 26 without loss. We're in the 3rd over.
Good start.
A good start, and they need this start. We also want Ingram to fire, because then comes Billy Root and Chris Cooke, who are capable, of course. Then I'm afraid it rather tails off. Here's Mills coming into Lloyd. He's on 17, bowls to him and he cuts it away, backward of square. Again, the man at 3rd man gets it just inside the boundary, but there'll be 2 runs, firmly struck there, short outside the off stump. We haven't seen the famed short, slow balls as yet from Mills. Former Essex player, of course, and another one that, like his former teammate, Papara from Essex, moved down to have the lovely Brighton air.
It's young Lenham down there at 3rd man, being kept busy.
Yes, just turned 17, bowls leg spin.
But previous there, he's 17 later this month, actually.
It is. I thought he just turned. I saw him the other on television. That's a lovely shot. It's a beautiful shot. 6, I think, was it? No, just landed short. He swiveled there, pulled it, first bounce, 4 runs. David Lloyd, well played. He's such a good player, such an attractive player to watch.
Nick cut me off then, sorry.
Don't block him, Mr. Webb.
David Lloyd's throw pull on one leg there, just helped on his way, lovely shot.
I was trying to turn myself off while I had a mouthful of chicken.
32 without loss then, and Lloyd quickly on to 23 as Mills. What's he got in store now? Bowls. Short, cut away this time, down to 3rd man. Lenham fields and returns flat throw on the double bounce. End of the over. Well, useful over. That how many runs do we get off that? 12, I think, on it. Yeah. 33 without loss. All the 3s. This after 3 overs. Glamorgan are going at 11s, Nick Webb. Have you finished your chicken yet? No. Stephen.
It's a brilliant start in the circumstances.
Yeah.
As I said, this is what they needed to do. This will be interesting. They have some spin in the power play. I think Will Beer's going to bowl his quite quickest leg breaks, isn't he? So,
what did I read about him? Now, Danny Briggs is the most wicket taker in the competition. This lad's not far behind either.
Right.
He's troubled Glamorgan in the past,
yes,
along with
has.
several other Sussex spinners. Briggs, you mentioned, and Rashid Khan, who thankfully for Glamorgan is yet to re-emerge in Sussex ranks this season, but is due to do so shortly once he's done his however long it is in a hotel these days. 33 for naught, Glamorgan, chasing 202 to win. So they are up with the rate so far, but need to keep going for the further 17 overs.
I would like to see Carlson just pick the right ball, but it's not him facing, it's Lloyd.
David Lloyd has been launching already as he launches again and sends that skimming away. One bounce down towards backward square leg, but the fielder was at mid-wicket, so it was perfectly safe. Ran away towards the groundsman's hut area of the ground. And 4 more to David Lloyd, 37 for naught.
Great stuff from David Lloyd. This Beers just got his line wrong there, isn't he?
Yeah, but he hasn't got the advantage. Normally when he bowls, he's got 4 or 5 fielders out.
Well, exactly, that's what I said. That's a big challenge for him, having a bowl in this power play with Glamorgan already up and running.
He's got a man down here in front of us, long on.
Here is Beer, the senior of the leg spinners, and that is hit over the offside. That's a beautiful chip by David Lloyd, who just stepped back and helped himself on the ball sitting up and placed that really nicely, Steve.
Yeah, off the back foot. Obviously mid-off's got to be up, so he knew exactly what he was doing.
Yeah,
just lofted over mid-off. Beautiful shot. Great stuff.
41 for no wicket. Crowd are Getting going. Having been slightly bemused by Sussex's run charge, Glamorgan have the beginnings of one themselves as Lloyd cuts down to point and goes through for a single. 42 for naught.
It's 9 of 3, you see, and another boundary. Up there again, but I hope that Carlson is such a delight to watch. Would have his youthful exuberance and run past one. I shouldn't be so pessimistic. That's the way he plays.
Calm down, Edward.
Such a good play.
Beeren to bowl to Carlson, who cuts down to short third man, and they'll go through for a single, even though it was
nearly did him.
Fielded by Archie Lenham, the 16-year-old, who will be celebrating his 17th birthday, Edward, in 3 weeks' time. Should you care to send him a birthday card? 43 for naught. 43 for naught. Second youngest player to play in the T20. The youngest was Hamidullah Kadri. As that's Lloyd stepping back and appealing for a stumping is Phil Salt there. Just maybe to wind up his fellow North Walian.
Kept a bit low, that. Would have been a weird stumping considering he went back to play it.
But might have lifted. Yeah.
There's a bit of a smile on Salt's face. I suspect that was that was nowhere near as stumping.
I think his back foot might have been lifted, but his front foot
was still in the crease.
Yeah, exactly.
43 for naught as Lloyd gets a bit tucked up, plays on the offside. They'll go through for a single. There were 11 runs off the over, thanks to the boundaries off the first two. And Glamorgan, ladies and gentlemen, are still on target at 44 for naught, off 4, chasing 202.
They couldn't have asked for a better start, Glamorgan. It's exactly what they had to do.
What cheers me up is to see to win 158.
Yeah.
I know we've had 4 overs, but that all of a sudden it doesn't look quite so bad. And I wonder if Colin Ingram might find some form. If he plays well, then we'll have some fun.
I really think they've got to keep going hard for these next 2 overs. These next 2 overs will be vital in this game, I think.
Right. About 2 more overs of the power play. 2 games away. They got 66 against Sorry, I think it was. Anyway, Lloyd waiting. That's going to be 1 run out towards mid-wicket. Visa is back after his 1 over. 45 without loss. Rather cloth that did Lloyd. He's on 35. Carlson hasn't had so much of the bowling. Carlson's only faced 9 balls and Lloyd has faced 17. Visa coming into the right-handed Carlson. Slip has been taken away. Bowls him and goes down the leg side. Well, yeah, he might have just nicked the pad on the way through, but down the leg side. No wide call.
I think it was the batsman backing away, although
it wasn't down the leg side. It was beat him on the inside, didn't it?
Yeah.
No. Did it?
Yeah.
A pair of glasses, Nick. Can you pass me on?
There's a screen on your right, Edward.
He gave himself some room, didn't he?
Yeah, he's backing away.
Here's excuse me, Visa again. Bowls to Carlson. Carlson has
good stop.
Hit that, and it's very well fielded there by the bowler himself. Yeah. Good all-rounder for Sussex. Morgan keeping intact, though, 45 without loss. Visa in not great light. Comes in again and bowls, and Carlson has hit this over mid-on, and is that going to run away for 4? No, it's stopped by Mills just inside the boundary, and they come back for 2. Again, he didn't middle that, Steve, did he?
No, he didn't quite get a hold of it.
No.
Slightly short. I think that did stick in the pitch a little bit as well.
47 for no wicket as we have 2 balls of the 5th over left. He is a tall young man, 96 on his back as he comes in and bowls, and that's driven through the offside. There'll be 1 certainly, and they'll probably stick on 1. Yes, they do, which is very wise. Get over this from Visa. Lloyd is on strike. need a boundary to try and finish this off, because there's just one over left after this for the fielders to scatter. The short fine leg at the moment is out of the ring, but no doubt he will walk back. Yes, he does, as the Lloyd plays it up gently to mid-off. That's the end of a good over from Avisa, but Glamorgan have moved on to 49 without loss after 5 overs, and at the moment, all going well.
Yeah, it's a good start, isn't it? Whenever you're chasing a T20, I always like to look at the Duckworth-Lewis par score, so Glamorgan are just slightly ahead, so that shows they've had a decent enough start, doesn't it?
All we need now is a
huge
thunderstorm, and we're Glamorgan are home and dry, or home and wet, as the case would be.
It's not a definitive guide, is it? But it's almost a handy pointer, I think.
Yeah, indeed. It's finding it in the middle of the scoreboard in a load of made another load of figures.
Mitch Claydon is back, who Lloyd rather enjoyed.
Does he
short and hammered away up towards the boundary. That'll be 4 runs off the first ball. Is it your turn?
50 up for Glamorgan.
I'm getting carried away, isn't it?
Edwards enjoying himself. You carry on, I'll just write the reporters, all right, for the website. Lloyd smashes that one through the offside for 4 and moves on to 40 not out. It was rather inviting from Claydon, who is back bowling again, and this time it's a dab and run from David Lloyd. 54 without loss. Glamorgan in the 6th. Chasing.
What is good, Steve, is that the crowd are seeing, well, they're probably all Welsh, seeing Glamorgan making a fist of it. Had it, been 30 for 3 or something like that, it would have been such a dreary old game. But,
they're doing more than making a fist of it at the moment.
Yeah.
This is a great start, but yeah, the challenge will be once they come out of this over and
all the boys will be out on and be 1s instead of 4s.
Claydon into Carlson, who hits this one over cover, and that will bounce and almost plug actually inside the extra cover boundary, but it has just run away for 4, and it's 58 for Norton. Carlson joining in the fun, Steve.
Yeah, it's a great shot. He likes giving himself some room to free his arms on the offside, hit that over sort of wide extra cover, wide mid-off area. As you say, didn't quite get it because it did plug, but enough for 4. Good shot.
58 for Nort. Visa into Carlson, who's beaten by that one. Is he trying to run it down to third man, Steve, with third man up? Is that your reading that one?
That's exactly what he's trying to do.
You know all about that, don't you?
He's very, very straight.
He was lucky not to be bowled. Just a couple of inches outside off stump. The king of the run down to third man, Steve James.
You'll never escape from that.
they wouldn't have had third man up to me, that's for certain.
58 for Nort as Claydon bowls, and Carlson's carted that one up to mid-wicket.
6.
No, it's been thrown back by the fielder, who couldn't regather it.
Shit.
And in the end it is just 2 runs. And an astonishing piece of work, really, by Harrison Ward, who was in the air outside the boundary. And, is his foot on the ground there or not?
I think he was okay.
Yeah, he just about got rid of the ball in time. So well done, Harrison Ward. He's saved 4 runs for his side there.
That would have been useful, wouldn't it?
Good skills.
60 for Nort. Didn't practice that in your day, Steve. Claydon is in to bowl to Carlson, who drives to cover for a single. 61 for Nort. End of the over, end of the power play. 61 for Nort, chasing 202.
What were Sussex power play now?
Sussex power play was 77 for Nort.
Okay, so it's a good effort, isn't it?
It's excellent.
But it just goes to show still some distance behind, so it's going to be tough, isn't it? And this will be enthralling now to see what happens now. Glamorgan come out of that power play, the field can go back, and how easy or how hard it will be to score.
David Lloyd has the ability to clear the ropes, especially straight on these, especially the far boundary, as we all know. But they do possess. There's Beer, there's Lenham, of course. He bowls leg spin. And I think we've seen the other bowlers, and they haven't caused much trouble. Robbie Bapara is also a clever one-day bowler. I think he's coming on to have a bowl now, isn't he?
I think he might bowl okay on this pitch.
Yeah.
Well, this is Sussex attack minus the likes of Robinson in quarantine, Garton off with England, and Jordan injured.
Be interesting to see where they give George Garton a game at Bristol on Sunday. They should do, really, having picked him 2-0 up in the series. It's an ideal opportunity, isn't it?
Ravi Bopara, rather. Yeah. In he comes, bowls his first ball, and that's cut away for 4 runs back at his square. Lovely shot by Carlson. All little men love to cut and pull and hook, and Carlson played that exquisitely. Always a great start to have 4 runs off the first ball.
Great shot, short and wide.
Thank you very much.
Away.
Yep.
Yeah.
.65 without loss. Glamorgan chasing 2,202. Bopara in again, bowls. Carlson plays defensively, and it goes down to long on for a single. And David Lloyd might just eye that shorter boundary. Not all that short, but it's definitely shorter than the other one away to our right, which is in front of the big stand. Lloyd is on 41 off just 20 balls. He's facing Bopara, right arm medium fast, and he comes over the wicket, bowls to him. And this is played between Carlson's legs, the non-striker's end, as he lets it go through his legs down to long on. And the 6th run of the over has come. 67 without loss. It's been the opener's night here, hasn't it? Sussex at a stand of 144 as Bopara bowls. Carlson's gone for the big one, and there's a man there, he might catch him, and he does. Yeah, on the long on boundary, so a blow for Glamorgan then. Bopara picking up that wicket. An excellent open stand, ends now with Carlson caught for 22.
Travis Head.
Yeah, fairly simple catch, running to his right there. It's a long one, just never quite got a hold of it, Kieran Carlson, but it's a bright start from Glamorgan. And if Glamorgan needed an innings from Colin Ingram, now is the time, really, isn't it? He's got 1 score, isn't he? But apart from that, he's probably been below his usual standards, I think would be fair enough to say.
Well below, I think, Steve.
I think he's suffered because the last couple of years he just simply hasn't played enough cricket.
No, he's about 10 months without anything last year because of being stuck in South Africa.
It doesn't matter how good you are, you need to keep batting if you're a batsman.
But Lloyd has got strike, and he drives this ball from Bopara out towards the extra cover boundary, and they go through for a single. And up comes the left-handed Ingram. Yeah, pity that, because another couple of overs from them up towards the halfway stage would have been useful. Now then, Colin Ingram. Played some wonderful innings for Glamorgan over his time here. A lot of space on the onside, but Bopara is a clever bowler, clever one-day bowler. So he comes in now and bowls to Ingram. Ingram tries to work it away. They get a leg by, though, as Lloyd was backing up very well. And Bopara, hand and hips, is looking and saying, well, how did he get a single there? Well, you didn't have anybody feeling there, young man. End of the over, and Glamorgan is 68 for 1. And that's the first over from Ravi Bopara, which he's bowled pretty well.
David Lloyd, by the way, has been run out in his last 2 innings. Last night by a brilliant throw from 60 metres, which I guess you have to say is you just have to pay credit to the opposition. And the match before, I think he was mucked up by Chris Cooke.
Now then,
young Lenham's going to have a ball.
Yeah, I think you'll be impressed, Steve.
69 for 1 after 7. Glamorgan just dropped below the required run rate of 10.1 runs per over. Lenham wearing number 41. Well, don't the cricketers look young these days?
Not only that, he's bowling to Colin Ingram. Number?
Number 41, but who's 19 years his senior. In comes Lenham to bowl to Ingram, who drives, and it's a dot ball as the Fielding is done by the skipper Luke Wright at short cover. Here is the youthful Lenham, and Ingram drives the next ball back to the bowler. So
it's a great start for the young man.
Strike 2 to the teenager.
He's got men everywhere on the boundary.
As Ingram drives through the offside, he's hit that one hard. It might just reach the boundary. No, it's a very good diving stop by Harrison Ward, 21-year-old, on the ropes, and keeps them down to a couple of runs.
This is what I was talking about earlier with Sam Pearce. Ingram won't have seen Lennon before. I mean, may seen some footage, but when you're facing a young leg spinner for the first time.
As Ingram drives, and we'll take a single up to long off. He looks as though he's wandered in from a youth match, doesn't he, Steve?
Well, if you see him close up, Nick, you'd be surprised.
Really?
Yeah, he looked about 13.
It's very youthful on the screen, anyway, on the side of us.
I'll tell you a little story about him in a moment.
As David Lloyd on strike on 43 not out. Here is Lenham, has done really well so far in this over, and he'll continue to do so as Lloyd drives to cover and takes a single. 73 for 1, just 4 runs off the teenager's over, if he can get out of it correctly with this delivery to Colin Ingram, who's on 31 not out. Glamorgan 73 for 1. 202 is the target. Lenham bowls and Ingram goes big, tries to. Lenham with an impassioned appeal and no response from the umpire. 73 for 1, but advantage to Lenham, conceding just 4 runs off the over.
Pitch that's a leg stump, I think, didn't it? But that's a pretty impressive first over that from young Lenham, isn't it?
I watched him making his debut. It was on the stream. I think it was Gloucestershire they were playing, and he was in extra cover. First ball of the game, Steve, I think it was Hammond, the opener, had him not too hard, down it went, and the poor lad was absolutely dejected. And then he came on to bowl. First ball he bowled, got a wicket.
Yeah, shows good character.
Yeah.
His dad broke Glamorgan hearts, didn't he? That semi-final 1993 at Hove.
I still have nightmares about that.
Partnership with Alan Wells. I actually got out to Neil Lenham in that game as well, and he was only a little medium pacer.
2 good overs for Sussex, and now it's Papara having taken that first wicket. He's coming in and bowls to Lloyd. Lloyd, he's just pitching a little bit back of a length, and Lloyd can just push his bat back down. He's looking round the field, and deep mid-wicket, long on, long off, deep extra cover. It's not easy, and he knows that he's got to try and stay there because he's Glamorgan's main hope at the moment, if they have any hope. Is such a long haul. Papara in, bowls to Lloyd. Lloyd goes down and sweeps, and he's going to get Tymal Mills feels it, just the one he'd swept it round. Do you notice Tymal Mills bowls left arm, throws right?
Just about to say that.
Yeah. That was an inch or 2 from the boundary rope.
Samit Patel does that as well.
Yeah.
Bowls left arm.
He got a big score last night. He did 70 or 50 balls.
Kevin James, remember him?
For him, yeah.
Commentator now.
Lots of them do it, don't they?
He used to do that.
Now then, Papara's to bowl to Colin Ingram. He's on 3, and he is bowling from the river end in light, which is not great, with a couple of floodlights on. And he comes and bowls to Ingram. Ingram square drives, and it's stopped. They hesitate, and this is going to be run out, is he?
No.
Yeah. Oh dear me. David Lloyd run out.
No, it's
Ingram run out. Oh dear, well.
So what happens there, he's cracked it to backward point off Papara, where Tymal Mills has sort of half stopped it.
Here we go.
Ingram thought there might be a single, but Lloyd has turned it back, and then
done him.
Ingram's had to go back. Mills thrown it in, he's gone. It's a waste of a wicket.
Absolutely. Poor Colin Ingram, sympathise with him. Because really...
That was a yes, no, sorry sort of mix-up, wasn't it?
Yeah. And all of a sudden, things have gone worse for Glamorgan after that rousing start. 2 wickets coming in no time at all, and the run rate, of course, has gone down.
That's the sort of thing that happens when you maybe not scoring as many runs as you might like. Something like that always happens. Just to rub it in, this game could be quite cruel. And just watch Ingram walking off there, very disconsolate. I know how he feels. Been there many times. So not a nice feeling. Sometimes this game can be quite hard and quite cruel.
Chris Cooke is the new batsman, who hasn't got the runs he would have liked in this competition this year. As Bopara comes in, bowls to him and hits him on the pad. Bopara, as we expected, bowling a little bit of everything, and he's so vastly experienced, Steve. He knows exactly what to do on this sort of pitch.
Yeah, he's bowled straight and quite a good length in here, that's the key.
Yeah.
I thought he'd bowl okay on this pitch, to be honest.
Crowd disappointed and stunned by that exit from Ingram, as in comes Bopara, bowls and goes for a square cut at a wideish delivery, but doesn't make contact.
It's like it just swung a little bit, that actually.
Glamorgan 74 for 2. Long way to go. And Lloyd, of course, since the 6 overs have gone, has quietened down as Bopara bowls and can do nothing else, can Cook but dab down in it and play it up to mid-off. That's the end of the over. 74 for 2 Glamorgan. They need another 128 in 11 overs.
Yeah, I was talking about that Duckworth Lewis figure earlier, so that's gone up to 89, Glamorgan 74, so I think that reflects what's happened in the last few overs. Sussex have got back on top, haven't they? And I did say I thought it would be difficult once Glamorgan came out of that power play. I think that's been proven to be the case.
Yep.
A lot resting on David Lloyd, who's played really well so far, wouldn't he? He looks 45 off 25. He looks in great nick, but
he's got to clear the fence, hasn't he?
There's a massive burden on him now.
Yeah, and nobody will criticise him if he does get out, Nick.
So it's Lenham to continue. Nice position for the youngster making his way in the game to have so many runs in the bank. Reverse sweep comes out from David Lloyd, and that has gone away for 4 runs down towards backward point.
It's a brilliant shot, and it obviously has to be premeditated. Yeah. But the execution was superb. Low full toss. He's nailed that between short third man and backward point there. It's not the biggest of gaps there, but he's easily got it through that gap.
David Lloyd moves on to 48 not out, 49 not out, 78 for 2. Underneath the floodlights, 4 out of the 5 pylons are functioning. 1 still awaits the part from America, which must be coming over via transatlantic steamer, I think, as Lloyd drives down the ground towards long off, but hasn't beaten the fielder then. It's just a single, but the applause that you'll hear is for David Lloyd's half century. It's taken 27 balls, included 7 fours and a 6.
That's a brilliant innings, that.
Yeah, he's done his part. He's played his part, rather.
He's going to have to do a bit more if Glamorgan going to get close in this game, though.
And others.
First half century for David Lloyd this season. Chris Cooke on strike, and Cooke pushes on the offside and takes the single. It's 80 for 2 Glamorgan in this 10th over.
Floodlights be ready for the ODI next week, Nick?
They start earlier, won't they? I haven't heard anything about them being...
Well, it's supposed to be a floodlit game, isn't it? Is it supposed to be a 1 o'clock start?
I'm not attending, so I hadn't given that my immediate thoughts as they'll take another single there.
You are the font of all knowledge, Nicholas, normally.
Yeah, which day is it? Thursday. 1300 start, it's due to be.
Well, they'll have to amend it to 11 o'clock.
Lenham is in to bowl to Cooke, who drives but doesn't quite time it, gets a single out towards the cover boundary. 82 for 2.
No, they had a temporary one, didn't they, for the 2 T20s?
But why didn't they leave it in then?
Yeah, I can't see from where I'm on my high chair at the back of the box. Is there a temporary one there?
No, there isn't at the moment.
Okay, they're obviously hoping that the...
that's carted down towards backward square, and David Lloyd has gone hold out on the boundary. Archie Lenham has got a vital wicket for Glamorgan, and Glamorgan having lost that one, Lloyd had to chase it really. It was coming down the wicket. Lenham trying to slip it down the leg side.
Yeah,
that's a full toss, hit straight to backward square.
It's a bit of a strange one because, as you say, Nick, he was coming down the pitch, and obviously Lenham, I don't know whether he's seen him coming, but he certainly fired it down the leg side. It's ended up being a low full toss, which he could only hit by sweeping it. So it's quite rare for a player to run down the pitch and then sweep. He's actually hit it hard, isn't he? Hard and flat, but it's gone straight to Beer, who's dived forward and taken it. Disappointing that, but it's a fine knock from David Lloyd, in fairness.
82 for 3, Glamorgan at halfway, and well, that 3 figure really means that they're behind the 8 ball to mix sporting terms.
Douthwaite's been promoted. When the scoreboard comes back up, we'll have a look at the Duckworth Lewis, but it'll be, yeah, so it's 102, yeah.
20 runs behind.
That's a fair reflection, I think, of where we are.
So Douthwaite, who started down the 8s and 7s, is coming in at number 5, obviously to inject something into it if he can. It's not going to be easy, but he does hit a long ball. Last ball of the over too. Beer is back into the attack, and he is going to be bowling to Chris Cooke. Cuts straight to extra cover, and there is no run. 51 then to David Lloyd, 22 to Carlson. Colin Ingram run out for 3. Glamorgan falling behind now as Sussex can afford to bowl their leg spinners. As in comes Beer, bowls to deceives them, and they go through for a quick single. Cooke hesitated then. If he'd said no, Douthwaite would have been in the same crease at him, because he came herring down the pitch. You've got to look for those singles, though, Stephen, when you're so behind.
Yeah, I think they need a bit more than singles, Edward, at the moment, I'm afraid.
Yeah, but anything, just keep the impetus.
Need to keep scoring off every ball, but yeah, they'll need a bit more.
There's only 2 balls to the halfway stage.
2 balls past the halfway.
Past the halfway.
Past, yeah. In comes Beer, tosses this one up, and is played away on the onside by Douthwaite. Just having a look at him, and there's no run.
I might be totally wrong, but from what I've seen, Douthwaite maybe not a great starter against spin. Doesn't find it easy to knock it around.
No, he does.
He's a very good striker of the ball, isn't he?
In comes Beer, close to the stumps, bowls, and is just pushed gently down to long on for a single, which Sussex won't mind in the least.
He's knocked that down to long on nicely enough anyway.
Cooke comes back, he is on 2. 2 new batsmen at the crease, you can say. In comes Beer. Which is just a bit quicker. It's a lovely shot. That's 4 runs. Through extra cover by Chris Cooke. One of his favourite shots there. He got to the ball, hit it like a tracer bullet through extra cover. So a welcome boundary for Glamorgan. They need a few more of those. Takes the score to 88 for 3.
Yeah, he's targeted that area. He's gone over extra cover, isn't he?
Yeah.
There's a huge gap there between long off and deep cover. He's hit it beautifully.
Yeah. Steadies himself for this. Next ball, bowls it short, and that's cut away. 4 more, I think. Yes, easily. So 8 runs of 2 balls. Not a very good over from Beer. That is the end of the over. It is also the end of 10 overs, and at this stage 11 rather, when you think that Sussex were 110 without loss after 10. Glamorgan have got to get their skates on.
Good couple of boundaries there for Chris Cooke, short and wide. The last one cut it away nicely.
Still Duckworth Lewis, pass score 110. So Glamorgan need
110 off
18 off this over to get up to that, and 110 is coincidentally also what they need to win in 9 overs. So
what an ask!
Over 12 runs and over needed. Douthwaite on strike. Lenham to bowl. Lenham is in, bowls, and Douthwaite drives to long on for a single. 93 for 3. Sussex will quite happily concede singles for the next 45 minutes or so. 40 minutes, probably less. 93 for 3. Chris Cooke on strike. Long boundary on the leg side, 3 on that boundary. Cooke comes down the wicket, and then with Lenham dropping it flatter, had to adjust and hit it out towards extra cover for a single to the sweeper fielder. 94 for 3.
In fact, Douthwaite hit one of the biggest sixes I've seen here the other day. It landed up here somewhere. I forget who it was against, but he does hit the ball hard.
Lenham in, Douthwaite down the pitch and drives to cover. And again, a single taken. The Glamorgan batsmen telegraphing their charges a bit here, Steve.
Maybe.
Lenham's just able to drop it in, or maybe follow them. Cooke hits this one straight up in the air, and who will be underneath it? The keepers want it, and Phil Salt gets it and hands the ball back to Archie Lenham, who might have taken it himself, but it's the guy with the gloves who's meant to take it if there's any doubt. And Salt taking over responsibility, and Lenham saying, "It's all yours, mate. It's all yours." Well, you don't want a collision underneath it, do you? Cooke goes for 11, 95 for 4, and you get the feeling, Steve, that Glamorgan are just going to go down swinging.
Yeah, it was a big slog sweep, wasn't it? Looking out to that long boundary. Yeah, it went high. It was a pretty good call, I think, by Salt, the wicketkeeper, to run down and take that. Then Lenham, as you say, was looking to get underneath it and then just ran out of the way. But yeah, it's remarkable how sort of comfortable and confident he looks in this environment for such a young lad.
It is.
Looks like he's playing with his mates in the park.
Yes. Douthwaite is on strike, and Douthwaite off the back foot. Clips one out towards mid-wicket. They'll take just the single as another younger player, Harrison Ward, at the venerable old age of 21, does the fielding.
What did I say last night? Billy Root came in, first ball.
Reverse sweep.
Yeah, and it was.
What do you reckon, Steve? Reverse sweeper leggy? Is he going to go for it?
Right.
Well, they've got 2 men there. They've got 2 men
he
there.
does play it well.
I've been watching the videos. Lenham bowls, and Root slog sweeps for 6 over mid-wicket. Just got enough on it. It saw one of the leg side fielders leaping high, and Billy Root slightly spoiling young Lenham's fun, but Lenham will take that, having claimed the vital wicket of Cooke, and it's 102 for 4 now. Glamorgan off 12 overs, needing 100 off 8 at 12.5 runs per over.
It's a steady shot, that first ball, isn't it?
Did you see his 4 sixes the other night, Steve?
I didn't actually. No.
That was in the final over, but on that occasion he'd given himself several overs to play himself in.
Yeah, I mean, it's a short boundary there, isn't it? But you know, first ball, fast hands. There's 2 men out there. He's cleared the fielder. It's a brave option. Great shot.
After that expensive over from Beer, Robbie is back in the attack. Robbie Bopara, and he is coming in now, or will be coming in a moment, to bowl to Dan Douthwaite. This is on 4 balls to him. Pulls it away out towards mid-wicket. It'll only be a single. I think Root, who's like lightning between the wicket, must remember that he's got somebody there who's a few stone bigger than him, and not quite as quick. But this is Root, who you can say won the game the other night for Glamorgan against Surrey with those 4 sixes in that last over. Ravi Bopara in his 3rd over, figures of 1 for 9. As Salt now is placing the field. Now we're ready. In comes Bopara. Bowls to the left-handed Root, who plays it short mid-on as the shy comes in. He's played it that. He didn't time it at all, because a foot either side it would have been 4, because fine leg is up in the ring.
Also, if he had left that, it would have been a wide. It was a long way down the leg side.
It was, yeah. Bopara, right arm. Medium fast bowls. Yes, again, not timing it Douthwaite tonight. Just a single. So good over from Bopara again. Sussex still in the mix here for a place in the quarter-finals. You can't say that anybody's near qualification at the moment. Surrey may be top, but they've played more games than anybody else. Bapara is in, bowls to Root. Root goes back, cuts fiercely, but there's a man patrolling that extra cover boundary, and again it's only the single. And 4 balls have gone, and it's just the 3 singles so far. Now, Mr. Douthwaite, is he going to try? I was a bit surprised that Salt is standing back, really. He's a gentle pace, is Bapara, as he comes in and bowls again. And this time, this has gone out over long on, and
that's huge.
That has gone. He played it off the back foot, I think, Steve.
That's gone, over the stand.
It's in with the Fishers, I think.
If somebody's walking there by the River Taff, they might have got clonked on the head there. That's a big hit.
Enormous strength, isn't it? Just sort of bang. Yeah. Off the back foot, basically. So I thought he might launch. So 6 to him. Glamorgan keep going. 112 for 4. Wouldn't mind seeing 7 or 8 overs of these two together. We'd have some fun.
New balls, please.
And
I don't think they'll be getting that one back.
Mr. Salt has come up, and he has been sent back. Bowler says, I know where I want my keeper.
To be fair to Phil Salt, he's not a regular keeper, is he? No. He has done it before, but he's not a specialist keeper.
Yes, Mapara looking for revenge. Comes in now and bowls, and this one is hit. Another half a dozen out towards mid-wicket. Good gracious me, that's big. That is balcony. Big. Players' balcony, here we come. And you people who are streaming, well, my word, let's have a look at that again. I know it's a shortish boundary, Steve James, but that is huge.
Yeah, it's a short ball. Not sure whether it was a slower short ball, but he hits it more thunderously hard, didn't he, Douthwaite?
He gave that the proverbial kitchen sink and everything else.
He'll have a game on our hands if he keeps doing that.
Well, that's injected some purpose. 118 for 4, Nick.
Well, yes. As that got Glamorgan up and running as there's one for the Sussex staff to chuck back off the players' balcony. Don't often see them hit there, do you, Steve?
No. It's a couple of huge hits.
That was opposite side of the ground, of course, in your playing days. The pavilion.
It was.
Way to our right at the Sports Centre side of the ground. Now it's away to our left.
It was quaint, I think, is the way of describing it.
Lovely old spot.
Commentary box was probably 180 degrees from where we are now as well. Here is Beer from the Cathedral Road end to bowl to Billy Root. Can he come to the 6-hitting party? Comes down the wicket, drives to long off, single up to David Visa. 119 for 4.
As they always say, when Douthwaite hits it, it stays hit.
Well, yes, he's clonked 1 or 2 onto the sight screen here. Sophia Gardens so far this season. He's on 18. And, well, he could provide entertainment, even if it's still an unlikely equation. 83 off 6.5 overs. Beer into Douthwaite, who smashes one up to long on.
6.
He's cleared it by about 5 metres. Visa jogged back, hopefully, but it's cannons into the fence, and Dan Douthwaite is certainly swinging hard, high and handsome at the moment.
Another fine shot. Just cleared his front leg.
He didn't really smack it.
Got enough of it though.
He got enough. How he hit it, I tell you. Spectators there ducking for cover. 77 now.
Beefy blows from Dan Douthwaite. 125 for 4, 77 to win.
What has Beer got in his locker?
Beer bowls shorter, and Douthwaite plays it out in the offside for a single. 126 for 4. Crowd starting to get into it, and it is so good to hear the crowd making a bit of noise for Friday night cricket at Sophia Gardens, even if it is just 2,000 rather than 6,000-7,000 you might expect in a normal season, but it's better than last year, that's for sure. Root faces up and he hits one to right at the cover, and they run through for a single to 127 for 4.
I think Root here is just hitting the singles and saying to Douthwaite, right, it's you, if we're going to win this, it's you the one who's going to hit big shots, and I'll try and help you and keep, because not a lot of batting to come, not a lot of aggressive batting to come.
He hits his first ball for 6, mind, Bev.
Yeah. But since then.
Beer to Douthwaite, who launches again on the leg side. Has he got enough on this one? I think he has. Yes, he has. It's cleared mid-wicket by 5 metres there, and Dan Douthwaite is bringing this game back to life for Glamorgan as he helped that one away over mid-wicket. Massive blow on one of the longer boundaries here at Sophia Gardens, and what tremendous entertainment.
I think that was his fourth, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Tremendous entertainment. Beer in to Douthwaite, who someone wasn't quite ready. 133 for 4. Last ball.
Gone for 35.
Of the 14th over. 69 to win, off 6 after this delivery, which Douthwaite defends and turns away. Probably slightly cross with himself that he didn't get in the right place, but Beer finishes with a dot ball. 69 off 6 at 11.5 runs per over.
Some incredible hits in there from Douthwaite, which has brought this game back to life, hasn't it? Because I mean, it was lucky as if Glamorgan were just sliding further and further behind the rate and out of the game. Douthwaite, you know, Billy Root having hit his first ball for 6, they've both come in and really taken this challenge up. There's still some distance to go, mind. 69 off 36 balls, but having thought that Glamorgan might have been sliding out of the game, they're right back in it now at the moment. They're still behind Duckworth Lewis, though, unfortunately.
Thank goodness it's not going to rain then, hopefully, in the next...
but again, it shows what a stiff ask it is. I think that's
well, it was
that's the bottom line.
That start that they got. Visa's coming back for his 3rd over, and he will be bowling to Billy Root. Since he hit that 6, he just played quietly with 4 more singles. Anyway, here he comes. This is played out into the cover region, just backward of square. They amble through for a single. 134 for 4. Now, the man Wheel is in next. He got 50. It's the first time really he scored any runs, but he does give it a crack again. And if he did happen to come off, if one of these is out, still, and then it'll be the youngsters coming in. So these two and possibly Wheel are the key to a shock victory as Weezer comes in, bowls, and this is a cross-batted shot out towards mid-wicket, just the single. And I thought then, Jamie, that he was winding again for a hike. These are coming around the wicket to the left-handed route. Light not great again. Yeah, it sounds like they're far more in the ground than there actually are. Here's the next ball, and back it goes, and it's played out into the covers, and good bit of fielding, and did get away with that. Weezer's bowled quite impressively, actually. He's only gone for 12 in his 2.5 overs. And this is a good one. Those 6s compensate then when you have a slowish over, don't they?
Yeah. But I was just about to say, you can't afford too many dot balls like that last one.
No.
In this situation, unfortunately.
River End and Visa over the wicket, bowls to Root. Root gets tucked up a bit, but he just pushes it away out into the onside for a single. 2 balls remaining, 135 for 4. And if Sussex, who will be favourites to win this game, they will owe it to their opening pair.
Yeah, what's Dan Douthwaite got in
his
locker for this over then?
Is he going to go square or straight? Visa bowls. Douthwaite is big. He was looking to pull that out to mid-wicket, but it's a bit too quick for him outside that off stump and went through to the keeper.
Well, he hit the last one onto the balcony. He was trying to hit that one over the pavilion, I think.
Seen Colin Ingram hit one onto the roof of the pavilion here.
If he'd have connected with that would have gone over the pavilion.
Tymal Mills has got 3 overs remaining. He undoubtedly will be bowling at the death. But it's Visa now with the last ball of the over. They'll want something from this as it's clipped away down towards mid-wicket, just a single, an excellent over from the South African. 136 for 4, and Glamorgan need another 65 in 5. That was not a good over for them.
Yeah, that's a good over for Sussex. And, yeah, quiet one for Glamorgan, and immediately the rate shoots up, doesn't it? And the pressure is back on Douthwaite to produce something even more spectacular.
Oh well, Archie Lenham's coming back.
This is a brave move, isn't it?
I think this is going to be a telling over for Glamorgan.
Yeah.
So 65 off 5 needed at 13 runs and over for Glamorgan.
I think this is where he might be.
Unlikely. Lenham is in to bowl to Douthwaite, who swings but gets it off a bottom path of the bat, and they'll take 2 runs out towards mid-wicket. 139 for 4.
Very good running there. Yeah. I was just about to say, Douthwaite will not be blocking too many. He had a big wind up for that one as well.
He's got to middle it because long boundary here if he goes leg side.
Have to try to hit the straight path of the boundary, and that's what he tries to do. Is he going to be caught? He is. David Visa, tall figure on the long on boundary, and Douthwaite goes for a very entertaining 35. But well, young Lenham is enjoying this evening. He's got 3 wickets, and while Salt and Wright have played the major part, he's certainly backed up this Sussex effort with the ball.
Yeah, brilliant innings from Dan Douthwaite. But that's actually brave captaincy and really brave bowling from the young man as well, because everybody knew what was going to happen there. Douthwaite was going to really go for him, because as you said, Edward, this was always going to be a key over.
Yeah.
Fair play to the young man. His temperament is excellent, isn't it, young Lenham?
Yeah, I was so impressed with him, as I said, and I think he's going to go a long way.
I mean, bowling leg spin is difficult, isn't it? Because it's difficult to be accurate, and you do get hit around a lot. So you've got to have a strong mind and a strong temperament. He certainly seems to have that so far.
4 sixes for Dan Douthwaite. 18 balls he faced, 35 runs he scored. Glamorgan need others to take up the mantle now, with 63 still needed to win. 4.4 overs, and James Wheel on strike, the left-hander, and so he'll be hitting with the leg spin into the pavilion maybe. Full toss from Lenham, and he gets away with it as Wheel clubs it up to long on, just the single. So Lenham's over so far.
No, I think Root, Steve, has got to take over the mantle of man in charge. Yeah, he's got to go.
Yeah. Same as he did first ball, he's got to go to that leg side boundary. Always gone
reverse and a miss from Billy Root. As,
I think he's got to go the same way as he did for that first ball, that short boundary to the leg side.
Launched himself at that, Billy Root. Threw himself off his feet. But it's the boy wonder, Archie Lenham, who bowls wide outside off stump, and Root drives to long off for a single. Root was coming down the wicket. Lenham tried to throw it wide and get a stumping. Root just about reacted. 141 for 5. Root to 13. The crowd quietened after the bludgeoning blows of Dan Douthwaite, and Wheel back on his stumps and leg before wicket. What an evening for Archie Lenham. A 4-wicket haul, 141 for 6.
Just looked plumb, that, didn't it? Just sort of
absolutely
went back across his stumps. Just went nowhere. Got trapped. He's had a brilliant evening, young Lenham. Very, very impressive. 4 for 26.
That is quite ludicrous figures, isn't it, considering the
man of the match. Who do you pick?
Luke Wright.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
But on the other hand, he's probably still... if we were giving away a Man of the Match award...
I'd give it to him.
Give it to Lenham. But Wright's already got hundreds, he won't miss one more. But yes, I mean, I take your point, Wright's innings...
The game was won in the first 6 overs.
Yeah, more important. 141 for 6. Morgan needing 61 off just 4 overs. Not quite strike the car time, but pretty close. Route 13, Taylor yet to score.
Putting the keys in the door. As in comes Weezer now. This is going to be caught at extra cover. The what? Another wicket falls.
Yeah, Roots just chipped that to extra cover, running back there. Short ball from Mitch Clayton.
Update for BBC Radio Wales to come. It's been a feast of runs, but Glamorgan look to be losing again. Certainly put up a braver fight than last night up at Essex. They've provided plenty of entertainment for the crowd, but Sussex with a mammoth 201 for 8 in their 20 overs, thanks largely to Luke Wright 77 and Phil Salt 63. The North Walian, the two opening batsmen, put on 144. After that, Glamorgan fought back with Dan Douthwaite 3 for 28 and Roman Walker 3 for 44. Glamorgan then got off to a flyer themselves, but they're falling away at the moment. David Lloyd hit 51, Kieran Carlson 22. Dan Douthwaite just out, hit 4 sixes, a couple of massive blows, one into the river, one into the players' balcony, 35 off 18 balls, but when he went, it was probably realistically the end of Glamorgan's hopes, and believe it or not, a 16-year-old Archie Lenham, 16-year-old leg spinner for Sussex, has provided himself with a night to remember. He's got 4 wickets for the visitors. So Glamorgan chasing 202 to win, and they are 145 for 7 in the 17th. Taylor and Pearce left to one fears. Edward trying to minimise the margin of victory.
Yes, Clayton turns on from that river end and bowls. Well, that is a very no ball called. So much for we haven't seen many no balls this summer.
Is that on height?
I think it was, yeah.
Just looped through outside off stump.
It was attempted slow ball bouncer, wasn't it?
Well, the way
just
Clayton,
went a bit wrong.
Clayton's bowled tonight. You can see why he hasn't played much cricket this year. He comes in again, and there's the attempted big hit, but it was well pitched up Yorker, driven to long on for a single. 147 for 148 now, 4-7 with that single. And young Sam Pearce has come to the crease.
I mean, he's a decent player, isn't he, Sam Pearce, as is Callum Taylor, but this is a stiff ask.
Yes, Clayton comes in and pulled nicely down towards fine leg. There'll only be a single though for Pearce. So very much Sussex's night. They'll climb back into the top 4. 2 batsmen to come. Andrew Salter and Roman Walker. But it's Mitch Clayton from that far end again. Comes in and bowls, and this is hit straight out, down, and 6 runs. That's a good shot to play against by Colin Taylor off a medium fast bowler coming racing in. It was lovely, lovely strike. So we've seen a few sixes, plenty of runs. It's already 155 for 7.
Superb shot over long.
It was a good shot, wasn't it?
Yeah. But unfortunately, Glamorgan are going to need a few more of them, aren't they?
Yes. 47 off 3. I'm afraid.
Dan Douthwaite 35, one of Lenham's 4 victims. And Bapara will bowl with plenty of runs in the bank. 47 needed off 3 for Glamorgan. Pearce 1, Taylor 11. It is Sam Pearce who's just come into the first team squad this week. We'll wait and see whether he features in red ball proposals in the championship game against Sussex on Sunday, which I'll be joining Adrian Harms of BBC Radio Sussex for commentary 11 o'clock Sunday morning. 155 for 7. Pearce 1, not out. Papara bowls, and that's hit out towards square leg. Has it bisected the field? Yes, it has. Despairing attempt by the man at square leg to keep it in field. He got a palm to it, but couldn't knock it back in field, and A one bounce for Sam Pearce.
Yeah, good shot to the leg side there.
Lovely shot,
Pearce,
wasn't it?
yeah.
Will Beer with a decent effort running round the boundary. 159 for 7. 43 runs needed off 17 balls here on BBC Sport Online. As Bopara's in, bowls, and that one's up in the air. It should be caught at third man underneath it. Catch taken.
Archie Lennon
again.
Wells.
The 16-year-old gets himself onto the scorebook once more as Pearce looked to launch another one on the leg side, but skied it to third man. He's gone for 5, 159 for 8.
It's a good catch actually, wasn't it? Because it went up quite a long way and was going away from him. He took a brilliant catch, didn't he, in one of his early T20 games, running back.
That was the game.
And celebrated like
because he dropped that first ball in the innings and his first appearance.
He kept running around the field in celebration, didn't he?
Yeah. You know when you see, and I noticed last night, I said there's something in this boy, and it certainly is.
So Glamorgan falling away. Can they muscle a few more blows? The first next ball is hit by Callum Taylor to cover, and they'll go through for a single. 160 for 8. Doesn't really matter about net run rate now. Glamorgan are not going to qualify for the quarterfinals with this 7th defeat in 10 completed games. 1-3, lost 7. It'll be in a few minutes' time. 42 to win for Glamorgan as Andrew Salter chips it up towards long on, and it doesn't quite carry, and it's misfielded by Visa, and they're back for 2 runs. 162 for 8.
Steve, Nick feels the same. To see Andrew Salter batting at number 10, it worries me a bit, because he used to be a very useful batsman, didn't he?
He bats high up when he plays in the second team as well. Bats in the top 4 normally.
I find it strange.
Well, I suppose there are a lot of players much of a muchness in this Glamorgan lower or middle order, aren't they? Salter down the wicket, throws the kitchen sink at it, but Bopara just got it past the end of his bat, and it's a dot ball.
Going back to Lennon, Edward, it'll be interesting to see how his career goes, because there have been quite a lot of leg spinners in recent years who've become sort of T20 leg spinner bowlers. Beer is actually probably an example, isn't he? Max Waller at Somerset, people like that. Well, it'd be interesting to see how his red ball career goes.
Yeah. He's got a good tutor there, Ian Salisbury, the former England leg spinner.
Bopara is in to bowl, driven by Salter through the offside, not quite through the offside, unfortunately for him. Sprawling stop at cover, and they take a single. The second youngest player to play in the T20 Blast, the youngest being Hamidullah Kadri, the former Derbyshire, now Kent spinner, who got a 5 for here in a dreadful match.
How old was
in
he?
The championship. 16, Edward.
I saw him play down here.
38 needed for Glamorgan off the final 2 overs on.
Was that a day-night game?
Yeah, it was awful.
Yeah, I think I saw about that. Okay.
It was well worth missing.
Yeah, no, I saw about that.
Before you think of his future, Steve, Lennon, he's going to get to the 6th form first. I think he's in the 5th form. I saw him in an interview. Honestly, he looked such a well, he is, of course, he's young. But good luck to him. Far end, it's David Visa to bowl his last over, and this is played in the gap. No, not quite. Thought it was going in the gap for a single by Salter. He moves on to 4. Taylor is on 12. Now, see, 164 for 8, you'd be chasing the normal score, the par score here would be about 170, wouldn't you think? But it's such an electric start, though, by Luke Wright and Phil Salt, that Glamorgan were never going to come back to that. Here's Visa, comes in, bowls, and what a cheeky little shot. A ramp over the keeper's head. Gets 4 runs, well played. Glamorgan making a fist of it. Yeah, won't be enough. Callum Taylor with a 6 off Clayton, and now a cheeky little boundary there over the keeper's head.
It's a good shot, good inventive shot.
Yes, well over the Phil Salt's head.
He's a decent player, isn't he, Callum Taylor?
Yeah, got 100 in Northampton last year in Championship.
Was that his debut? I think it was.
Yeah, reached his 100 with a 6.
As you do, of course, all the time.
That partnership with Merchant de Lange, wasn't it?
Hogan.
Hogan for the last wicket, and Merchant de Lange before that. Here is Visa. Comes in again and bows. Taylor has hit that down.
Out.
That's going to be caught, is it? It's caught at long off. So going down bravely, Callum Taylor. Glamorgan now have lost their 8th wicket, their 9th wicket rather.
Went down in the cause and he cleared his front leg, was trying to go leg side originally, I think, and then sort of ended up going inside out towards long off.
Callum Taylor out for 16, called by the substitute fielder, Stuart Meeker, bowled by Neser.
Stuart Meeker, the substitute fielder.
Former Surrey bowler. Yeah.
Played for England, didn't he?
Did he?
He played, or was he in the squad?
I don't think he played, no, he's in the squad.
T20? ODI maybe?
Yeah, had some...
yes, you're right. 2 of each.
Yeah, there we go. There's some problem.
I thought we had. I was bowled him.
First, as we were checking this up, in came the batsman and down went the wicket. So Neser picks up another wicket, and Sussex ready to get into that coach and go that longest drive back down to Hove tonight.
Game, set and match. Glamorgan all out for 168 as Andrew Salter was bowled charging. Roman Walker is not out 0, and Sussex's margin of victory is 33 runs. Is that a fair reflection, Steve James?
Yeah, definitely, I think. Yeah, I mean, the game was won and lost in that first power play when Phil Salter and Luke Wright got those runs. I said at the time you can lose a game in the power play, and I think Glamorgan did lose the game in that power play when they got 77. It was just so hard to come back from that. The batsmen had some luck, but Glamorgan will reflect on that and know they didn't bowl well enough in that power play. They actually dragged it back quite nicely, in fairness. And then with the bat, I mean, David Lloyd and Dan Douthwaite both played superbly well, but I just always felt they were up against it. They had a good start in their power play, but even then they were still slightly behind, and it was also an uphill task. So yeah, disappointing night, but that was where the game was won and lost in that first power play.
3 wins out of 10. It's not a pretty record, Steve James.
No, I mean, I haven't seen all the games, but yeah, I just think, you know, you can talk a lot about teamwork in cricket, but at the end of the day, still it's an individual sport played in a team environment, and not enough individuals have stood up for my liking in this Glamorgan campaign. They obviously relied quite heavily on Marnus Labuschagne when he was playing, but yeah, I think if individuals reflect on their own performances, they'll realise they haven't been doing enough and not contributing enough.
No, and they'll be glad to have 2 championship matches, and you say to recharge their batteries. There's only what's left, Nick. Two games, Hampshire and Somerset.
In this competition, yeah.
Hampshire away and Somerset home. So I'll have to try and do the best they can, because they do want the ignominy of finishing bottom, as they might well do with Middlesex beginning to a few games now, and Essex. But Hampshire are the bottom side, and
before I forget, another word for young Archie Lenham for his performance tonight. 4 for 26 from his 4 overs.
I did build him up, but I'm glad you agree.
No, it's a real joy to see such a young man coming in and looking so comfortable in the environment, and, you know, be given that opportunity and take it. So it's really pleasing to watch something like that.
I wouldn't hesitate, would you, if the headmaster says yes, for him to play in the 4-day match? It'd be lovely to see.
Yeah, I don't know what sort of bowler he is in the 4-day game. That was a point I was raising earlier. That's what will be interesting, because we have seen quite a few leg spinners in recent years who've sort of been brought up to bowl in T20, to bowl it quite flat and use their variations, and they don't necessarily transfer that easily or that well to the 4-day game. But yeah, he's certainly one to keep an eye on. He's made some impression already this season.
And would he not? You can be allowed to bowl as overs, but would you think a 16-year-old boy bowled 20-25 overs in championship cricket, sticking a lot out of him, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, as I say, I've got no idea what he'd be like in that sort of environment, that sort of longer game. But you know, he's obviously played some longer cricket, but probably not much more than 50 overs at his age.
Yeah. So Edward, another defeat, but a bit more fun for us than last night.
It was, and we saw David Lloyd play a good innings, but without Labuschagne and without Selman, who's played well this year, if you had those two, then you'd think, yes, possibly Glamorgan might get 200, but they're not here, and they've had to bring in the youngsters, and it showed. But Steve is absolutely right. There's some people there who really have not come to what we expect of them, and that one I feel for, and I do sympathise, is Colin Ingram, who's played such wonderful innings for Glamorgan, and he's been a hero of the crowd over the years, but as Steve rightly says, hasn't played. He's 33 now. Our only hope, finally, Steve, is that he perhaps comes back and proves everybody wrong and gets a heck of a good season next year.
Yeah, I mean, it was a few years ago. I remember saying he's one of the best white ball players I've ever seen. Yeah. Certainly at Glamorgan, and he was just outstanding, simply superb. But he's got a bit older. He hasn't, as I said, just hasn't played the amount of cricket. He hasn't hit the number of balls he needs to. If you're a batsman, you need to keep playing. You need to keep batting. And unfortunately, because of the circumstances, COVID and other circumstances, he just hasn't done that. And then you come back and play, and you get on a bit of a run of low scores. It can be a hard game, cricket. We've all been there, and it can be tough. And it was quite sad actually watching him walk off tonight. Having got run out, he looked absolutely gutted. He's come over. He wants to perform. He's done it before, and he wants to do it again. And
well, he's a passionate guy, isn't he, Steve? He's not the sort who's going to turn up and just take the money. Exactly,
he wants to perform, and he's had one knock, but apart from that, he'll know that he hasn't done what he's been brought over to do. So, he will be disappointed. Yeah, as Edward said, let's hope he does prove us wrong. I think he's actually going to do some coaching with the academy boys as well, with the batsmen. So as somebody who helps with the academy as well, I'm actually quite looking forward to that, because I'm sure he can teach them.
He's a lovely man.
I'm sure he can teach me something about power hitting as well.
If you two manage to combine the best talents of your respective games, Steve, then you should have some pretty useful all-round batsmen.
I'm sure he can teach me. I'm not sure I'll be able to teach him much, but I'm sure he can teach me quite a bit.
Right. And of course, just a quick word, Nick, I think, about Glamorgan's new overseas player, Hamish Rutherford.
Yeah.
Ex-Test player, of course. Saw him get 100 in the 2020 at Worcester last year against Glamorgan. But speaking to the Essex people last night, they didn't rate him very highly, but there we are.
What do you make of that signing, Steve?
Yeah, I don't know a lot about him, if I'm totally honest.
There we are.
Well, so, explain why that's happened, because
instead of Labuschagne for one-day cup and final 4-day championship games. So he's, he's played Test cricket, and he's done a fair bit over here, Worcestershire, Derbyshire, and Essex.
It's so difficult with overseas players these days with availability. If you're Mark Wallace as director of cricket, you must sort of spend half your life sort of
on the phone.
Yeah, talking to agents and scouring the internet and trying to work out who might be available and trying to get them at the right price. It can't be an easy business. It's not like back in the day when you just signed one player and you knew they were going to be here for the whole season.
Exactly.
And that was it. Now you're shipping them in and out, and you've got to pay for flights and
agent
and all that. Yeah, it's not an easy juggling act, I wouldn't have thought.
There we are then, Nick. Enjoy Hove, and I hope you get some weather down there.
Yeah, there are meant to be showers around, but I'm sure Adrian Harms and myself will do our best to entertain. Thank you very much indeed to Steve James and to Edward Bevan for their company this evening here on BBC Sport Online. Sussex 201 for 8, Glamorgan 168, all out. Sussex victorious by 33 runs, North Star.